and dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
Hey, what day is it?
To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bockoven.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans. And when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the games.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome in. It's Tom and Bock. I'm not sure are we early?
Feels
are
like
we
it.
Early? It's always good to be on time, but this is getting ridiculous.
I'm still tired. I got to go back to bed.
That's right. I need to take a nap, so we won't talk the first hour of the show. We're just going to, of course we'll deliver our usual greatness, Bock. The kids depend on it.
That's right.
They depend on our greatness. So we're on from 10 until 2 today, talking Husker sports. Happer has to get to the Nebraska women's basketball game because I don't know if you've heard, but he's the big shot PA guy.
That's right. Helping them get to 11-0. I think if he wasn't the PA guy, maybe they wouldn't be undefeated at this point.
I've had a couple suggestions for him over the years. He does a great job. He's flawless, really. But I would like, I'd like the kiss, the lingerie, that type of thing. Throw in maybe a little Gus.
Does he do the 4-3?
Yeah, you have to do that.
Yeah,
you're required to do that. But no, he does a great job. I like listening to Happer do the starting lineups and all the announcements during the games. And he takes, there's Red Pandas there today.
That's a big deal, yeah. For women's and men's, right?
I just tweeted it. Yes, that's why they sometimes will do them back to back, so they don't have to pay a promotions person twice. I think that she might make, $3-5 something like that.
She probably, among the halftime acts, she's a popular one across the country, not just in Lincoln. So she probably demands quite a bit of money.
Before she was called Red Panda, I just called her the teacup lady. Actually, she was called that, and I didn't know what she was called.
Yeah.
She's been Red Panda, I think, the whole time, but she balances teacups from a unicycle.
Very high up in the air, and then she'll toss them onto her head.
And sometimes they fall.
Yeah, very rarely.
So I worry about the glass that shatters. I mean, they must not be made of glass because I've never seen one shatter.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen her drop one. I know it's happened. I've seen it videos, but
she's definitely dropped one.
Yeah. In Lincoln.
I worry about our senior citizens sometimes on unicycles. I mean, that high in the air.
That's right.
I'm sorry. That's a little mean, but she's way up there and she's getting, she must be close to 70.
Do you feel more worried about here? Or what's the other guy, the amazing Slavic, the guy that goes
that guy scares me even more.
Yeah, he's really high in the air.
He stacks chairs until he gets almost to the scoreboard.
Yeah. And
I think he could touch the scoreboard.
But then when he gets to the bottom, he does like a backflip. So you're like, whoa, he'll be fine if he falls.
Yeah, actually, I thought he was 70 because he looks kind of like he's 70.
Yeah.
I think he's only like 62 or 3. As you get closer to 62 or 3, that seems young. When you're young, that seems really old. But I worry about that guy ultimately just crashing to the floor because there must be some trick to it, right? I mean, the chairs are wobbling. It looks like he's going to crash, but he never does. So I hope his career just continues to go forward. He's the best.
But at some point, you feel bad for those people because everybody has their point in time when they realize they're probably ready to step down for their career. Those guys, it's going to be a disaster, right?
That's right. That exactly the day when you lost a step. And you're the Slavic guy stacking chairs and you've fallen from hopefully it's early on in the stack.
Yeah.
It's not when it gets way to the top, but he's more likely to crash when he gets way to the top than he is early on. That's the most dangerous part, I'm assuming, 20, 30 feet in the air, whatever he is. We'll do a show today. Don't worry about it. 464-5685, Honda of Lincoln hotline, Sartor Heyman text line. We have to pace ourselves more than usual because we are going on early today at 10 a.m. This is normally Happer and Schaefer. Shapper. They should call them the Shapper Show. Happer and Schaefer normally are on these airwaves right now. I don't know.
Are you okay?
I'm drunk.
You are drunk.
I'm a little drunk right now. I'm lost because we're on the air early.
He's not ready till 11. That's been
right.
your routine for years.
I've always said I won't go on until 11 o'clock until I've properly rehearsed the names of the shows on our station. I'm looking for a gift for my wife, and I need help.
It's pretty late, Tom. It's like 3 days till.
Have you shopped?
Okay, yeah. Maybe
okay, so it looks like both Tom and Bock need help with our Christmas gifts this year.
Yeah,
I've done some good gifts. I don't know if I want to repeat. I want something new and fresh. So I'd like to hear from other men that have really knocked it out of the ballpark when it comes to Christmas. Because I'm not great at Christmas shopping. DP is. Like, he does this thing with Becky called the 12 Days of Christmas, where it's a new gift every day, and he puts a lot of thought into it.
Oh my goodness.
And he writes poems and he sings songs, and it's just something crazy every day, and it's always perfect. He's Mr. Romantic. The best gift I've ever given Heidi, seriously, is an air fryer.
Hey, those are pretty good, though.
I love it. We use it all the time. We use the air fryer probably 4 times a week, I would say.
How did you romantically give her the air fryer?
I just put it under the tree.
Yeah, well, that's kind of romantic. It's Christmas.
I mean, but I did do that thing that DP suggested last year, the 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
And it really worked out well because it's just a new thought every day. But Heidi asked me not to do it this year because she saw that it kind of stressed me out. That's what shopping does to me. I get completely stressed out about it.
And it sounds like maybe an excuse or whatever, but it does. It's very stressful to go shopping for people, especially I find for adults, because, I can't buy everybody, something really nice. I don't have the money for that. So I just kind of go around and try to find something that they can already afford, which they might buy if they already have it, So it's hard to put some thought.
Do you remember
into it.
You remember the best gift you've ever given? Not just to your wife, or the best gift you've ever given? Nothing.
No, not really. I'm not even.
I'm kind of in that category. I've given some really good gifts.
Yeah.
But nothing original or spectacular, other than they really liked it.
I gave my wife a coat last year, and I was thinking, okay, what am I going to do this year? And she said,
"Was it a fur coat?"
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I want another coat this year." So, what? I got you a coat last year.
So I'd like to know the best gift you've ever gotten your wife, or anyone really. 464-5685. Sutter Heyman text line 464-5685. We're on Twitch, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. The Sutter Heyman video stream. You can see us every day.
And by the way, it was a faux fur coat. It was. Don't worry, I didn't harm any animals in the buying of my coat.
Like, if you would have made it out of rats, that would have been okay, right?
I don't think anybody wants that, but yeah, no, I don't think that's still okay.
Coat. It's all rats.
These were rats that were already hurt by science.
That's right. These were only test lab rats.
Yeah,
it's a rat fur coat.
This is making more out of the test use. Yeah. From the science.
So when they have the fake fur, what is the fur? It's not used from like dogs, or did they shave off of dogs?
I don't know.
Like that. Is it human hair?
No, I'm not sure what it is actually. Now that I think about it,
I would like to know, when you get a fake fur coat for your wife for Christmas, was it made of? I mean, it's got to be made of something.
Yeah,
and it looks like fur to me.
It's soft.
Somebody on the text line says a puppy. Best gift they've ever given.
Ooh, yeah,
that can be the best and worst.
Yeah, puppies are awful. Actually, the dogs are great. Puppies are rough. I mean, they just they chew on everything. They crap everywhere.
And a puppy would not go well with Heidi. We've already made a pact, no dogs.
Oh yeah.
But I want a dog and she doesn't.
Oh really?
So the puppy would really be for me.
You made a pact, but she made the decision.
It was not really a pact. It was just a decision by her.
She just told you no dogs in the
house. She just told me. She went through the whole thing with the kids when they were young, and they always promise that they're going to take care of it, and then they never do.
Yeah.
I mean, they do maybe for a week, and then they've got football practice, or something after school, and they forget to let the dog out before they don't have time to walk it, either before or after school, and So you go into all that conflict, and it becomes her job, and that's what happened.
And she was worried about the same thing would happen with you.
Uh,
Is that right?
oh,
That
my
you
bro-
wouldn't take care
This is
of
my
it?
brother Doug, who
Oh.
has a suggestion. What's the best gift you ever got, Amber?
Oh, don't go there. Don't go there. I'm just glad to see that things haven't changed. We used to go shopping on the 24th all
Oh,
the
yeah.
time.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Remember, we would go, like, the only thing open would be like a Walgreens, Doug. And Doug and I'd be looking for gifts, and everybody would get shaving cream for Christmas or
Well,
cologne.
About 4 years ago, Amber and I were struggling and for things to get, and we forgot the stocking stuffers. So the 24th, we were going all over. The only place we could find was a Quick Shop that was open. So they got all their stocking stuffers from Quick Shop.
And they were probably cool with it, right? They didn't know the difference.
They're like, "Oh, this is good stuff." I'm like, "Oh gosh, this is horrible."
That's right. That's funny. Good stuff. Thanks, Doug. Are you
Hey, one suggestion for you:
all right?
Lost and Float.
Lost,
Get her a trip to Lost and Float.
what's Lost and Float?
And so it's like getting like a back massage, but it's in a substance. You just lay in there for an hour, and it takes every stress out of your body.
Okay.
Huh.
My brother must have bought stock in Lost and Float.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I
There you
didn't.
go. All right. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
But it sounds like you don't have to be
Merry
touched
Christmas.
during that. That's your concern about getting a massage, right?
I remember one time I had to get a massage because we were promoting a local business, and they wanted the on-air personality to get a massage. It was actually live radio, and she started on my feet,
Yeah.
and I don't like people touching my feet.
Yeah, I really don't like that either.
And you always worry about the look of your feet anyway. One toe is too long, they're crooked or whatever. Like, how are my feet looking?
Yeah.
But
Nobody's feet look great, so
No.
yeah, at least you have to worry about that.
That's probably true. But I did find myself by the end of it liking it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because it was a foot massage, but she also did my face. Like, it was a face massage as well, which was actually really good. I didn't think that would be good either. But in general, I just don't like I don't like people. So no, I love people. I just don't like being touched.
Is it sexist to request a female, do you think? I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good topic, Bock. That you're on your own on that one, Bock.
I don't know.
464,
I just like
5685.
I know maybe back in the day that'd be okay. It's not anything. I don't like to be touched either. But if it were to be touched, I would think that the more of a gentle touch would be from a female.
If not a puppy, a cat. No, see, I'm allergic to cats.
Oh yeah.
Can't do the cat. I don't know when I became allergic to cats, but I did at some point. Earlier, by the way, when I couldn't put a sentence together, Brian said, "You must have woke up to the weather alarm."
Yeah.
Last
What
night.
was did you wake up to that one?
Did you wake up to
I
it?
did.
I did, and it is true. I couldn't get back to sleep for 2 hours. That was like 11 something.
Yeah. I
Maybe
didn't sleep
11.
well either.
I bet it was 11:40 or so. That goes off, and I'm like, it freaked me out because that
Yeah.
never happens. And then I couldn't get back to sleep for at least a couple hours.
Yeah, and it was just like an emergency test. I think that they've made a mistake.
That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, where can I call to send them a beep? I mean, like, there should be a revenge beep that you could send back to them because it seriously cost me 2 hours of sleep
Now,
last
somebody
night.
might have lost their job over that. We better not be too harsh. I mean, they might not have, but
Brian says, pay attention to some of the fancier stuff your wife mentions. Well, that stuff is always art that I mean, she really loves modern art. And I suppose if I went shopping with her often enough, she would say, I really like that. And I would remember
Yeah.
that. But I don't remember that stuff. And nor do I.
you don't get art?
No, I would never buy her art because her tastes are so dramatically better than mine. If
Yeah.
she pointed something in particular out to me and said, I really want that, I would probably still not get it because I would forget that was the thing that she really. I mean, I would have to go back and price the thing. It would take a lot of effort, and
Yeah.
there would still be the risk that she wouldn't like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, hey, listen to what she says throughout the year. Pay
Yeah.
attention. That's tough to do.
That's exactly. That's I know. That would require listening skills. That's
Yeah.
one of my weaknesses.
We have selective hearing to begin with.
We start talking about sports more. If she's breaking down the Viking quarterback situation, I'm listeting.
right. Then
And
you
I
know what
remember
she
that.
remembers.
Then-
Yeah.
and I
what
know
she says.
exactly that she rarely does that.
But she start talking about things she likes. It's just too
It's
much.
like my mind just goes away from that stuff. But I try. I really try. I think I do a good job at it sometimes. What else is going on in sports? Keaton Slovich has chosen Pitt. Nebraska's last bastion of hope
That's
at
right.
quarterback has disappeared and now will go into the portal and has arrived at Pitt. I always think of it, the transfer portal, as you go into this thing, this cone of silence, and it's like an elevator and it spins around several times and the door opens and there's your new school. It feels like it happens sometimes that fast. Some of them a little slower. Keaton drew out his commitment.
It took a while.
It took a while.
It sounded like he came down to like a final three. At least it was reported by somebody close to the USC market, and Pitt wasn't on there. So maybe some late recruiting from Pitt. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe NIL. Who knows what happens? Maybe he had a talk with Whipple and said, "You know what? I was at Pitt. You'd fit in with that offense. Because we don't really want you here."
Maybe while Whipple was talking to me, the more he talked to me, he kept maybe saying how good Jordan Addison was or something. Well,
he kept talking about this Kenny. He kept talking about Kenny Pickett at Pitt, and he mentioned that he was at Pitt, so maybe I should just go to Pitt.
I was looking up the defenses over in the ACC and look better than the Big Ten.
That's right. So it makes me wonder where Nebraska goes next. I mean, these quarterbacks, it seems like one every day that you were kind of hoping for Nebraska. I guess Miles Brennan and Keaton Slovich were the two big ones that they were really pursuing. But now maybe a guy like Casey Thompson becomes a bigger target.
Is this a victory for you? Because the pocket style passers seem to have. And there's more of them. But
I don't want one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're getting the big.
I don't mind. I don't mind if he's a pocket style passer, he or she. I guess no, it's going to be.
It's probably.
I don't mind that. I just want, if the pocket breaks down, the ability to move within that pocket. Some guys can do it without being incredibly athletic. Like Drew Brees had the ability to step up in the pocket at always the right time, but he was pretty athletic. Tom Brady has the ability to step up in the pocket at just the right time and avoid the rush and keep his eyes downfield and make a great throw. You better be very elite if you have very little mobility. You better be Tom Brady elite at vision skills, getting the ball out, finding the right guy. You know, like a Zach Taylor kind of had that. But there aren't a lot of pro-style guys in my mind that have that, especially if you're talking about an iffy offensive line, which Nebraska has experienced.
And that's always been my biggest concern with getting him. I mean, I get the idea, and people will argue it for years. I mean, people just kind of have their preference about, the talk about having instead of having a running or a passing running back, basically, which Nebraska's had people say for years, or an athlete first, or all that stuff, that you go out and get the passing element first. You know, that's the best. The best quality of that player. But I don't know. I always like I always like a dual threat quarterback. But the problem with losing Slovich is I thought he was kind of there are rare exceptions for me, and a guy that was in the Heisman race at one time. I know we've heard that about Adrian before, but just because it doesn't work for one guy doesn't mean it won't work for the other. And I thought he got passed over at USC pretty quickly just because they recruit, those high-end guys. Jackson Dart seems to be the next guy. But before Jackson Dart was heralded as the next big thing, it was Slovich. So I thought that they had an opportunity. He did have a few games where he would toss 3 interceptions. It wasn't going to be perfect. But at this point, nobody is. I mean, when you move your I don't know. There's no report connecting Nebraska to Casey Thompson, but you got to figure they're after the top quarterbacks in the portal. But when I just feel like you're starting, and maybe there'll be new names in the portal after the bowl season, but I think you're getting down to some pretty slim pickings at this point. And there aren't that many big name schools left that need a quarterback as far as teams that entered when this transfer portal began.
Unless, Bock, new names enter the portal after the bowl game season is over.
Yeah.
And maybe if you're patient, sometimes you reach in and you grab the first thing available. And if you would have waited, maybe you get a better option down the road. I mean, if you're whoever, if you're Pitt and you could have gotten a Kenny Pickett, who knows, down the road, instead of Slovich, you might have done that. But you can't risk it as well. I mean, there's probably a deadline period where you have to have a quarterback by this particular time. And I would imagine that time is soon arriving for Nebraska.
Well, and it's just also kind of, lets you know where this job is. I thought it was kind of strange to begin with, or not strange, but The fact that Mark Whipple decided to come here, I believe there was probably a nice dollar figure attached to it. But altogether, it's kind of known what this job is, right? Kind of a 1-year type of experimental type of thing. So it was kind of a risk for him to come here, in my mind, for his, just from the outside looking in, it wouldn't be the most attractive job to me. I think it's this kind of the same thing when you look at the quarterback race, when you look at, and it's attractive in that you'll play right away. I mean, you're almost guaranteed to play right away. It seems like they're looking for their starter in the portal, but it obviously has not worked this far, and they're just kind of throwing it all together and hoping something works in this last season. So I can understand why it would take some time to find that guy, but there's still some names out there, and like you said, there will be more. But I don't know. I hear from a lot of people that there will be this influx of transfer portal guys after the bowl season. To me, it seems like bowl season's pretty well established, as if you're not going to continue on that team, you will have left because, or sat out the bowl game or whatever, know.
That's the way it's been in the case, maybe been the case in the past, but now NIL, I wonder how that changes things for some guys if they know they can go somewhere and make, who knows, $400,000 or $500,000. If that's a possibility, you might consider leaving when you otherwise would not. I do want to shift to a Nebraska basketball conversation. Fred Hoiberg had some interesting things to say about Nebraska's shooting slump, and I want Chris to react to it. We'll play the soundbite yesterday from Fred. We'll have Chris react to it and other things related to Nebraska basketball. Kennesaw State tonight, 6:30 at PBA. So we'll talk about that. And maybe some Husker football. Definitely some Husker football with Chris Bassett. Coming up next on Tom and Bock.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Starting the right career is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. You want to enjoy your career, be challenged, have fun, earn a great weekly paycheck, and work for a great company. If you're looking for a career change or right out of high school, the John Henry's Plumbing Apprentice Program may be the perfect answer. You'll get paid while getting hands-on training. We focus on your skills while you engage in real-world learning. Why not join the John Henry's team today? Apply at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatch mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. You can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
Every time we make the choice to drive, we're making a choice that could have life or death consequences. Friedman Law Offices has proudly sponsored our holiday taxi service for 30 years. This year, we're proud to partner with Z-Trip to keep Lincoln's streets safer. Between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. from December 15th to New Year's Day, you can get a free ride home if you've had too much to drink. Just call 402-474-SAFE or click Let Friedman Drive at friedmanlaw.com. Friedman Law Offices. Helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do.
Brokers Insurance Agency is currently hiring full-time and part-time insurance professionals. They will provide you with the training and education to obtain your insurance licenses. Brokers Insurance Agency takes pride in educating clients with the best insurance program to help their clients meet their specific goals. If you're a hardworking, motivated person and would like to discuss a great career opportunity with Brokers Insurance Agency, please call Ken Richards at 402-420-5353 or email service@brokersinsuranceagencyne.com. The team at Brokers Insurance Agency is looking forward to helping you get started with your insurance career.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers says let it snow because a white New Year's Eve could mean free jewelry. Shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Holiday savings throughout the store. 36 months interest-free financing with approved credit. And remember, shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
This year, show her she's the one with 1 carat diamond jewelry from Riddle's Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1 carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1 carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
Located in Gateway Mall.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Back to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm debating reading this line from Thad on the text line. Should I read it, Bock?
Yeah, I think you should read it now that you teased it.
Well,
it's
you could go to the text line to probably read it. I was listening to the YouTube stream and was behind. Bock asked about requesting a female for a massage. I couldn't help but thinking of the classic Seinfeld episode where George says, "It moved," with the male masseuse. I do remember that. Was he the best character in Seinfeld?
I always preferred Kramer the most. Yeah. No, actually, that's a lie. Newman's my favorite.
Newman. And he was even less than anybody else. And Newman wasn't in every episode. And if he was in an episode, it was usually for, 2 or 3 minutes.
I just loved how it was Jerry's arch nemesis.
Newman.
Yeah, Newman.
Yeah. Corey is disputing whether or not a quarterback could make $400,000 or $500,000 at Nebraska. Isn't it true that Texas has a $10 million transfer pool, like $10 million in the pot?
Yeah, I don't know if that's not necessarily just transfer portal, but altogether
an NIL fund.
Yeah.
But
every one of their offensive linemen that starts going to make 50 grand.
Right. So that's pretty significant money. It's not 400 or 500, but I would imagine Adrian was in that neighborhood.
I would think so. The way that we talked to Sean Callahan not too long ago. He says not everything's necessarily reported out there for the public, but a lot of these deals, I mean, there's
housing.
A lot of money being thrown around. Yeah, whether it's cash that or just gifts or whatever, but
sometimes maybe harder to track. In the ways they're
but
giving it away.
Quinn Ewers made $1 million at Ohio State. I don't think
Bryce Young, same thing.
Yeah, I don't think that he would transfer if he had $1 million sitting at Ohio State to Texas if there wasn't $1 million waiting for him there. So I think that the money in some of these cases is pretty large, and I think Nebraska's. You can say, well, that's going on in other places, but not Nebraska. I think Nebraska and anybody that wants to be competitive has to try to keep up. And Nebraska's always been a school that we talk about. This should be an advantage for them because they have the interest, they have the and the money from the donors. So I think that whoever the transfer portal quarterback is going to be, we'll see pretty nice money. I don't know if it's $500,000 or whatever, but.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere in that neighborhood.
Part of it would be market value. I don't see a quarterback that's a Heisman candidate in the portal.
Right.
But if Bryce Young were in the portal, He'd be worth $1 million plus. He'd be worth $2 million.
Yeah, he might make $3 million. He might make a lot of money there.
Quinn Ewers is a different subject. I mean, he went to Ohio State. He saw Stroud was in the Heisman competition, and he's not leaving for at least a couple of years. So he didn't want to wait his turn. It's understandable. You bounce back to Texas, and you pick up a few bucks along the way.
When it's crazy, too, because, I mean, when you look at this thing, and we're talking about different amounts of money here, and you don't know if, it's hard to track. It's hard to necessarily report, but you can kind of try to get in that area. Donovan Raiola, the offensive line coach, was just, they just announced that it's $325,000 that he's going to get. I wouldn't be surprised if the quarterback on your team takes home more than your offensive line coach at that point.
Yep, that's right. Just announced Mickey Joseph, the wide receivers coach, the passing game coordinator, assistant head coach. Too many titles for Bock's liking. But maybe you give him all the titles so you could give him $600,000 a year.
Yeah, and he was making $500,000 at LSU, so maybe that's part of the pitch to bring him over, a little bit more money.
Yeah, $100,000. Actually, probably quite a bit more money when you consider the two economies. I don't know a lot about the Louisiana economy compared to Lincoln. I mean, actually, Lincoln has fairly high taxes, so maybe it's about the same. Ryan Held also going to Northern Alabama as their offensive coordinator. I don't think it's an upgrade, but it's maybe somewhat of a level move when you consider Ryan Held, who has been a coach at the JUCO level. He's been a head coach. Maybe wants to be a head coach someday. So be an OC. You've been a running backs coach. You've been known as a great recruiter. Round out the resume. That makes sense for him.
Yeah, it'll definitely be good experience for him. Obviously, I think overall, and probably in pay, you'd rather be at Nebraska, but things didn't work out quite as well as you wanted to here. But I don't think that's going to be his last stop. I think that he is a rising coach in the profession. It just they never really got the guy here. I mean, Nebraska's been searching for that mainstay at running back, and under the Frost era, it just hasn't really been there.
Tony Tuioti seems to be nudging his way toward Oregon. You could expect an announcement. It feels like there's an announcement type thing coming, right? That Nebraska is very possibly going to lose their defensive line coach in Tony Tuioti, known as a very good recruiter, has connections in that area of the country in the Pac-12. It would make sense that he would go back there.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting too because his son's a recruit here, so to see how all that thing goes, and of course kind of the Polynesian pipeline there. It not necessarily good news for Nebraska, but at the same time, you can expect these things when you have success, and that's what Eric Shenander's side of the ball brought you. That was not a 3-9 defense; that was better than a 3-9 defense, and so I wouldn't be surprised. The talk's always been Travis Fisher because he's had offers before, and there's nothing this past year. I mean, the secondary did really well, so you would think that would happen. Tuioti, you would hope. I guess I just kind of hope would still remain a little bit, underneath the radar there for a second, but somebody's been paying attention to what he's been doing. So
he's a solid coach, and he's well liked, I think, on the defensive line, and he's gotten production. More importantly, he's gotten production from the defensive line. I think they've gotten better. Maybe one of the reasons that Damian Daniels, one of the more improved players on that defensive line, is now headed for the NFL draft. I think he owes them something. That is Damian. I think that he's gotten better under the tutelage of Tony Tuioti. I think he'll make a good coach wherever he goes. It would be sad to see him leave Lincoln, but you understand that that's what coaching is. It's a kind of a vagabond business. You move from town to school, sometimes because you've been fired or sometimes because there's another job opportunity, and you can't help but wonder, does he think, and other coaches on the defensive staff think, oh, we got 1 year to prove ourselves. There's not a lot of job security in that. Maybe I'll go to Oregon. That's always a top 20 program, or at least has been, and was in the college football playoff picture, and still lost Mario Cristobal this year to a lesser job. To some extent.
But where he went to school.
He went to Miami, so you understand that's his alma mater. I think it would be a good hire, Tony Tuioti, wherever he goes. Would hate to lose him, though. Would very much hate to lose.
Yeah, you always wonder how those things, how it goes. I mean, does Tuioti because the news is out there. Does he come back to Nebraska and say I've got interest and I need a raise, otherwise I'm leaving? You would hope at least that's in the cards, but you never know. Sometimes it's just you get the phone call. Hey, I'm taking another job.
Hard to imagine Oregon would pay their defensive line coach, as he's making $300 or $400 now. If he bumped him to $500, it's hard to maybe believe that they would bump even higher, but they've got Nike money, obviously.
Yeah.
Phil Knight there, they can afford to do that if they want him. They can certainly.
And I don't know, they might save some money on their head coach, so they might be able to get a better staff, because that was just not a name hire. So I don't think they're going to have to pay Lanning as much as they would if they were going to try to go bid for Chip Kelly. Maybe that was part of their plan all along.
I don't know if we mentioned it. The Rams beat the Seahawks last night, 20-10. Philadelphia over Washington, 27-17. You got 2 Tuesday night games because of COVID, games delayed into the work week because of problems over the weekend. The Rams had a lot of guys out, but were still able to beat a bad Seattle team. And Philadelphia over Washington. Washington, I think, just had their quarterback last. I don't even remember. I've never seen that guy before. Who played? Never seen who that guy. I mean, Heineke. They've lost him, or did lose him for that game. So it's understandable.
I liked Garrett Gilbert. I kind of followed him throughout his career at SMU.
Okay.
He started at Texas.
You're a big Garrett Gilbert fan.
Garrett Gilbert guy.
Yeah, that's right.
It didn't work out, though.
It didn't work out last night. He handed off for a touchdown, I believe. I think that worked out.
And how about our guy? What do we call him? Connor Cole? It's Cooper Kupp, but we like to call him Connor Cole.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 9 receptions for 136 yards, 2 TDs. He's the NFL leading receiver in receiving yards and in
touchdowns and
reception. Yeah, he leads in several categories, and nobody ever mentions Cooper Kupp first as the best receiver.
Well, no, not until this year. I mean, I think you might have to if he does this. He'd be the first since Steve Smith back in 2005 to lead in all 3 categories if he does, and he's got a pretty sizable lead right now in all of them.
He's always been solid.
Yeah.
And he's always been that guy that, like Goff would go to if he wanted a first down. I always saw him as a possession receiver, but now he's just become a great receiver, period.
Well, and it's kind of cool, too, just to see Matt Stafford be able to flourish and get out of Detroit. Thank God. That guy's been a good quarterback for a long time, and you could see it there. But he just never had enough around him, unless you go back to those early days where they, had kind of Sue and some of those guys on the defensive line. But that was like 1 year where they made the playoffs. And so, and that's a considerable upgrade in my mind. I don't know why why Detroit thought that was going to be a good idea. I don't know if they're saving money on the Goff deal or whatever,
right.
Or just kind of figured it was time. But Stafford was always by far the more talented quarterback.
Well, he's now in his 30s, and Detroit's going nowhere. That's a rebuilding project, but it's always a rebuilding project. I thought if you could get enough for him, do it, make the deal if you're Detroit.
Yeah, but Detroit's where you hold on to your all-stars and Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson and let them rot the whole time in their career. And then the rest of the NFL wishes, if we could have just had that guy for a year or two.
Yeah, at least you didn't get him. La, 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 la.
That's how Detroit does. Just keep away the all-time greats.
Right.
Of course, Stafford's not in that category, but
Barry Sanders certainly was. Calvin Johnson certainly was.
Yeah.
Stafford, the stats will say that maybe he belongs with some of those guys that are in the hall by the end, but because he never won anything in Detroit, you're gonna say no way.
Yeah, he might have to do it with the Rams, and they're there's about 5-6 teams in the NFC that you could see winning it. They're definitely one of them. They're coming on again.
There's a ton of teams that could win it this year. Not Minnesota. I mean, not any of the 7-7 teams, I don't think. But this could be one of the years where you see a New York Giants type of story and somebody just gets hot. Because nobody's been great this year.
Yeah.
Kansas City, I mean, they have the 7 to 8 game winning streak, whatever it is, after starting 3-4. But they're not a great team offensively yet. They've been winning with defense, believe it or not, after being terrible on defense for the start of the year. Green Bay, maybe your team. I think those are the 2 favorites to make it to the Super Bowl, Green Bay and Kansas City. But I don't know if I would bank on anybody this year.
Yeah, and they're the favorites now, and who knows what I mean, it seemingly changes every 2 weeks, so we'll see. But I mean, like you said, the Chiefs are on a streak. The Packers have been there all year outside of kind of week one where we started to question them. And we'll see. I mean, the Patriots are coming on strong. The Cardinals are falling off. So it's just kind of interesting there at the top. Who's going to be the favorite? I certainly wouldn't mind. I mean, there's just all sorts of storylines that you can build up there. I mean, how good would Patriots Bucks be? Obviously, with Brady and Belichick, and the Chiefs and Packers would be great. Rodgers needs kind of that second ring to really get a lot of haters off his back about never being able to win more than just one.
Yeah. Let's get to break. Rico is waiting patiently for the blog jog. I think he's working on an animal story as we speak. The blog jog with Rico is on the way next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
The workday is long, the bills are due, and sometimes you just need to relax. There's no better way to do that than in your brand new hot spring spa from Bonzal Pool & Spa. With hot tubs as low as $75 per month and interest-free financing, you're sure to find the perfect spa to fit your lifestyle. So get over to Bonzal Pool & Spa today and check out their selection of hot spring spas. Bonzal Pool & Spa, 33rd and Highway 2. Every day made better. And now, story time from the world of Yum.
I could not eat fruitcake. I would not eat it by a lake. I would not eat it with a snake. There's no amount that I would take because I'll never, ever eat fruitcake. Hey, these snacks are really good. What is this? This is Grandma's fruitcake, but it's so moist and delicious. I like fruitcake. Okay, good to know. Kids, I gotta go. All literature is a lie.
Check out Grandma's fruitcake and all the delicious desserts at Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of Yum. Brokers Insurance Agency is currently hiring full-time and part-time insurance professionals. They will provide you with the training and education to obtain your insurance licenses. Brokers Insurance Agency takes pride in educating clients with the best insurance program to help their clients meet their specific goals. If you're a hardworking, motivated person and would like to discuss a great career opportunity with Brokers Insurance Agency, please call Ken Richards at 402-420-5353 or email service@brokersinsuranceagencyne.com. The team at Brokers Insurance Agency is looking forward to helping you get started with your insurance career.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars, shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
Starting the right career is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. You want to enjoy your career, be challenged, have fun, earn a great weekly paycheck, and work for a great company. If you're looking for a career change or right out of high school, the John Henry's Plumbing Apprentice Program may be the perfect answer. You'll get paid while getting hands-on training. We focus on your skills while you engage in real-world learning. Why not join the John Henry's team today? Apply at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatchback burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant, and you can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
South Lincoln has a new place for you to catch all sporting events. The Upside Bar and Lounge is your destination for Monday Night Football, UFC fight nights, and more. It's a great place to meet friends to enjoy great drinks and food, with plenty of TVs to catch all the action. There's easy access and free parking and comfortable seating for groups. And don't forget happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. each weekday. There's specials every night, including taco night on Mondays and burger baskets on Tuesdays. That's at the Upside Bar and Lounge at 27th and Pine Lake.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In basketball over the weekend, Creighton Prep rolled Lincoln Southwest in a win 62-32, giving them their first loss of the season. Lincoln Christian won over Archbishop Bergen 47-41. Ethan Barrier was the Crusaders' leading scorer with 18. Lincoln Lutheran won over Aquinas 58-47. The Lincoln Lutheran girls also won in a huge spread, 61-8. Lincoln Northeast got a big win over Omaha Bryan, 65-59. They wouldn't gain a lead till late in the fourth quarter, outscoring Omaha Bryan 22-10. The Lincoln Northeast girls also won with an absurd 80-point margin over Omaha Bryan, 85-5. Lincoln Pius X had a 20-point win over Gretna, 53-33. Millard North won over Lincoln East, 73-66. Millard West just got by Lincoln High in an overtime win, 62-54. Colin Nick led the Lynx in points with 16. Lincoln North Star fell short against Omaha South, 61-57. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. It is Tom and Bock. I got to get right back on the right time zone, Bock.
Yeah, we have a 4-hour show today.
We have a 4-hour show today. We started at 10 a.m. We got to pace ourselves. Not too fast. Slow it down. We should just do the same show, but just not as many words, or just slow things down every hour.
That would be a kind of a fun challenge. Just sometime mark out how many words we have in a 3-hour period, and then try to do the same in a 4-hour period.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I don't know how cool it would be for the listeners, but it'd be kind of fun for us.
Some people tell me I speak too quickly sometimes. If I get worked up, they go, Bock, slow down.
I like it when you get worked up. I think that's good passion. I like it.
Yeah.
People got worked up for Nebraska volleyball this year, and the national title match in particular. 1.19 million people watched the Nebraska-Wisconsin volleyball championship on ESPN2. Only 1.01 million watched the LA Bowl at that same time, or the same day, I should say, on ABC. It makes you wonder. About some of these bowl games, I guess, maybe just the popularity of volleyball. I think more about the popularity of volleyball. I wish ESPN would do a better job of marketing volleyball sometimes. It shouldn't be on ESPN2.
Yeah,
it should be on the big network.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I mean, ESPN or even ABC someday would be incredible. I think the sport's growing. And so, we just kind of have to go through this period to watch it go, but it's kind of cool because it's, obviously a women's sport and we're in that part of that movement and to be a part of that movement, kind of a prime player in that and being Nebraska is really cool because you can see the comparisons between Nebraska when they're in the Final Four, when they're in the championship games compared to when they're not. Makes a huge difference in the viewership. Nebraskans are carrying that movement, so it's very cool, and I believe it's going places. And like you said, eventually, hopefully, it can get even a bigger time slot or channel or whatever.
Interesting comments by Carl Anthony Towns. Carl is calling himself the greatest big man shooter of all time. They lost last night to the Mavericks. 114-102. Carl has been really good, obviously shooting the three, but we consider, you think of the greatest big men shooters of all time. I think of Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki happened to be on the broadcast last night. He was a little cynical when Carl hit one. He goes, oh, there he goes, the greatest shooter of all time, big man shooter of all time. But Carl statistically is better from three-point range. In 7 seasons, with the T-Wolves, he is shooting 40% from three. And Dirk, over 21 seasons, so a much bigger sample size, shot 38%. Does Carl have an argument?
He's got a better numbers than I guess I realized. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Carl Anthony Towns. A few years ago, they did a survey, and the GM said they would build with that guy before anybody in the league. And it was when he was younger, maybe his first or second year, and you could tell it'd be a long-term stay. I don't think he's been that guy in Minnesota, but he has been very efficient from deep. I mean, I would say he's up there. I'd say Dirk probably has the longevity at this point, and also kind of broke it into the league that big men could shoot. So that, I mean, to be part of the greatest to be, is also, kind of trending that, starting that movement is I think important rather than just benefiting off of, the modern age of being able to shoot all those threes with how big you are. But certainly one of the best ones in basketball all the time. I wouldn't say the best. I'd go with Dirk.
Yeah, and your team's got to be better than 15 and 18.
Yeah, if you hit a bunch of threes while your team's losing by 15,
they are fun to watch. Anthony Edwards can really shoot it as well.
Yeah,
the Georgia recruit. I just played 1 year at Georgia. I think they're a fun team to watch. We're force fed on Channel 37. Fox Sports Midwest makes us watch Minnesota basketball a lot.
I don't mind it. I tune in once in a while.
I do too. I definitely tune in for the Royals.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll tune in if it's a good game for Minnesota.
Would you be interested in going to a Timberwolves game if you went to Minneapolis or not really?
Yeah, because Minneapolis has a great downtown. Isn't that where the arena is? I think it is.
I don't know. I haven't been there yet.
But Minneapolis is a cool city. So it would be a fun night out. Like DP's that way. He's going to New York. And the Knicks are good this year, but he's gone so many years when the Knicks have not been good.
He's really going for the Wizards. The Wizards. He's going to go see the Wizards play the Knicks and the Nets.
That's right. He's more, but he goes to New York. He and Becky go there all the time, every year, and they always go to a Knicks game, regardless of who it is this time of year. And the Knicks aren't great, are they? They have fallen off.
Yeah, but they're still interesting enough.
Yeah, they're 14 and 17 now.
Everybody's bad in the NBA though. Other than Golden State, the Lakers aren't doing that great. So the Celtics obviously aren't doing good.
Well, Brooklyn's good. You suspected that they would be without Kyrie. Chicago's good. We didn't see that necessarily coming at 19 and 10. Cleveland's good. Nobody saw that.
I don't believe it.
Well, they are 19 and 12. Well, their record is good.
Right.
Miami's good at 19 and 13. Milwaukee just won the NBA championship, but they're in 5th place right now in the East. And Philadelphia, Ben Simmons, but how much was he going to help them? And they're 16 and 15. Then you got Washington, who was really good for a while, and now they're 16 and 15. Boston's down there at 15 and 16. Phoenix, by far the best team in the West at 25 and 5, had that long winning streak. Golden State's 25 and 6. Then Utah, who's just every year good.
Yeah.
They're never necessarily, they're great record wise, but nobody considers them as a title contender. But they are 21 and 9. You got Memphis having a good year, and then Morant came back and took all that crap. Did you see all the crap that he took from the fan base? They were actually 10 and 2 without him, and they've been, I think, 9 and 10 with him. And then he came back from an injury, and he was told to sit down by a fan of the front row, and it really bothered him.
With the Grizzlies, you finally have a franchise player, and you're trying to chase him out.
But they have been better without him than with him. But yeah, Ja Morant's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then Denver's farther down. So
that's what I'm saying. Like Denver, Clippers, Lakers, Mavericks, all teams I expect to make the playoffs, all battling around 500. And then in the East, like we said, the Celtics and Knicks, who you would think would make the playoffs, are in the 500. 76ers, another team around 500 that you expect to make the playoffs. So, and it's just a weird time. There's a bunch of replacement players everywhere. I don't know if these games should even count half the time.
Yeah, the Lakers have now lost 3 straight, and they lost last night, and they lost badly to Phoenix.
The Suns are good. That's one team we should mention, too.
Yeah, but the Lakers, a lot of this is injury and COVID related. They've had 17 different starting lineups this year, more by far than anybody in the NBA, and their coach is out. So they've had lots of injuries. And they're an older team. I mean, Carmelo got kicked out of last night's game for arguing a call. He's played a lot, but I just don't think the Lakers, in fact, I don't think any team in the NBA history has started 16 and 16 and won the title. I don't think that's happened this far into the season, a 500 team in the NBA. I don't think that's ever happened.
I don't think that's a title roster. Especially with Anthony Davis always getting hurt. Westbrook doesn't seem to mesh. You kind of need some more shooters. But they're obviously they're the Lakers. They're Showtime. They're entertaining.
Yeah.
So they'll be fun to follow. But yeah, I don't think they have what it takes to compete with the Suns or the Warriors this year.
I hope I'd like to see them in the playoffs and do well.
Yeah.
And then get beat by somebody like the Warriors or the Suns.
Yeah.
I just don't like. I don't like the Lakers. I'm a Celtics guy. You can't like, as we've gone over many times, the rules of sports. You can't like a rival like that.
Yeah, but now the Lakers have Rondo and Isaiah Thomas. They have 2 year former Celtics.
That is true about the NBA. You follow players more than you do necessarily teams in some cases, right? You bought the jersey in one city, you got to buy the jersey in the other city as well. I don't feel that way.
Yeah, it depends. A lot of fandom is that way for the NBA, is just the players, but you and I, we stick to our team.
Oh, you pick a team when you're 6, Bock.
That's right.
And stick with them unless they leave you. That's the rule. 464-5685. I think I'll finally be on track time-wise.
That's right.
That was the 10 o'clock hour. We are normally not here. It's usually Happer and Schaefer, but we are Tom and Bock, and we've still got our normal show to do. We did the pre-show, and now we've got the regular show to do. It's Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric always makes safety a top priority for our home and office. In under just 1 hour, their team installed the state-of-the-art air scrubber system directly into our existing HVAC ductwork. This technology purifies the air and reduces exposure to common bacteria and viruses, creating a safer breathing environment for my family. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Brokers Insurance Agency is currently hiring full-time and part-time insurance professionals. They will provide you with the training and education to obtain your insurance licenses. Brokers Insurance Agency takes pride in educating clients with the best insurance program to help their clients meet their specific goals. If you're a hardworking, motivated person and would like to discuss a great career opportunity with Brokers Insurance Agency, please call Ken Richards at 402-420-5353 or email service@brokersinsuranceagencyne.com. The team at Brokers Insurance Agency is looking forward to helping you get started with your insurance career.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses. And you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
South Lincoln has a new place for you to catch all sporting events. The Upside Bar and Lounge is your destination for Monday Night Football, UFC fight nights, and more. It's a great place to meet friends to enjoy great drinks and food, with plenty of TVs to catch all the action. There's easy access and free parking and comfortable seating for groups. And don't forget happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. each weekday. There's specials every night, including taco night on Mondays and burger baskets on Tuesdays. That's at the Upside Bar and Lounge at 27th and Pine Lake.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers says let it snow because a white New Year's Eve could mean free jewelry. Shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Holiday savings throughout the store. 36 months interest-free financing with approved credit. And remember, shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Sutter Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppell Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
Hey, what day is it?
To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bockoven.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans. And when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the game.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome in. Normally hour number one, now hour number two. We were the Schaefer and Happer show at the 10 o'clock hour, and now we are Tom and Bock, which we normally do that right now from 11 to 2 every weekday. A little bit later on, we do have Chris Bassnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. We'll talk some Husker hoops and football. The potential of Tony Tuioti leaving to Oregon is a big deal. We'll also broach that subject. Brian Munson will join us a little bit later on from Husker Online, and some Hoiberg bites. But I don't know if I really want to wait too long to play some of the Hoiberg bites. But you did have an update on Bigfoot.
Yeah,
there's news on Bigfoot today.
There's been another Bigfoot sighting recently in Illinois, near Springfield. A man saw a giant, obviously it's always a blur. It kind of crossed his path, covered a 2-lane highway road in 2 strides. So it was very lengthy. It was very quick, very athletic. Said shiny black hair. So
That's
maybe a
him.
different look than Bigfoot.
It's got to be him.
Yeah.
There have been Bigfoot sightings, since the 50s and 60s, or maybe earlier than that. So he's well over 100.
You think it's just one, or is it several Bigfoot?
Well, that's big feet.
Yeah, that's right.
There's been a big feet sighting. I don't know. That's a good question. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
I don't.
You don't?
I think
But you believe in aliens, right?
Yeah, I believe in aliens, but my take on aliens is that we always think that aliens are going to be smarter and come and take over the world.
Right.
I think all the aliens are pretty stupid so far. I think that we're the most highest advanced people so far. So that's why we haven't seen them, because they're just messing around on some planet. They don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing. But in every movie we've ever seen, they come down and they suck out your brain.
Yeah.
And they figured out how to do that.
Oh, Mars Attacks is my favorite alien movie. You have a favorite? That was more of a comedy than anything.
What was the one where they pour the water on them and they get...
Was that Signs?
That was Signs.
Signs was pretty good, yeah.
I liked Signs a lot.
Swing. What does he say? Like, swing for the fence.
Swing for the fences. That's probably my favorite. I liked Sigourney Weaver back in the original Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
But some of those, man, they're pretty... It scared me. I don't like being scared that much. I don't like really scary ones, but Signs was right there.
You don't like really scary?
I
like Signs because remember that scene where you would barely get to see the alien. There was just a scene of I don't know, it was overseas somewhere.
He was hanging out in the basement or just around the house.
Yeah, he would do that. But they had this. They're they showed the news and it was just a bunch of kids going ah! It's like the Bigfoot sighting where the alien just passed by real quick. And all the kids are losing it, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, there's aliens."
What was I'm not good at remembering the names of these things. War of the Worlds was good.
Oh yeah, that was.
I liked War of the Worlds.
What was their weakness? It's always something very was it like oxygen or something?
Right.
It's always something that's just inherent to Earth.
I think it was just being on Earth. They were slowly dying just being on Earth.
Yeah.
There's something about the oxygen or something. You're right. In War of the Worlds. But I don't know if I believe in aliens or not. I do believe in Bigfoot.
You do believe in Bigfoot?
Yeah, and I definitely believe in the Loch Ness Monster.
No, you don't believe in Bigfoot. You're making a joke because nobody believes in the Loch Ness Monster.
No, there have been actual pictures of the Loch Ness Monster.
They're not grainy. What does the Loch Ness monster
And
look like?
It looks like a dinosaur, and it lives in the water, and it's
Yeah.
always peeking out. It's kind of it's mostly dinosaur-ish.
Does he hail around Ireland? Is
Yeah,
that yeah.
Nessie.
Yeah, maybe we can go. Yeah, if you
Loch
go over
Ness.
to watch Northwestern,
That's right, in Dublin.
Try to find him.
We are talking about going to see the football game, so we got to stop by and see Nessie because we'll get a picture with her.
Are you considering it now?
Yes. Here's the thing, though. If I go, I'm gonna have to convince Mark to get a long vacation.
Right. Because you want to make the Euro trip.
I don't want to just go for the game. I really want to do the Euro trip where you see everything and do the tours and maybe have a pint, that type of thing.
Golf. You're just going to golf.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that alone, the golf courses there, they're legendary for golf courses. So, yeah, I'm hoping to go, and I think some friends are in.
Nice.
But they have more time on their hands than I do, and probably more money.
Right.
So,
how much would a loss to Northwestern bum out your 2-week trip to Europe? Do you think you'd get over it?
I'd be very, very angry
because the season and the whole experiment might be done by then.
I might just leave the stadium and go golfing. I mean, I've done that
Yeah.
before. I have done that for
Leave the whole trip. Yeah, but you're making quite a trip to go over there to see that game.
Yeah, but there's other things to see.
That's right.
I mean, there's a reason I probably haven't gone to an Illinois or a Northwestern game in the past, but I want to go to Dublin to see Nebraska Northwestern. Although Nebraska Northwestern, Chicago's fun. That's a good trip too.
Yeah,
that is a really good trip. I've just never done it.
I wish that I obviously I just wish that had a little more stakes to it. I wonder if they're going to get a big fan base over there in Ireland if Nebraska can do that, because obviously they're going to be the traveling fan group. That's why they're over there. It's Nebraska, not Northwestern. I don't think Nebraska gets enough credit for that. And of course not nationally. Nobody's talking about that game quite yet until the week 0 approaches. But it's not like it's not like Purdue. Purdue and Northwestern can schedule a game over there. It's kind of got some international appeal to it, so it's really cool. And I can't wait for it. I've said before that I would, if I went to Ireland, I'd rather not really go see a Husker game. I'd rather do Ireland things.
Yeah,
but
and that's the reason,
right?
I just want game day to be one day.
Yeah,
but you have to do all the things associated, the tailgating and hanging out with Husker fans, that type of thing, drinking at bars where they're located and doing Go Big Red chants and Husker Power and that type of thing. I want to do everything, but if I'm going to do everything, I got to go for a while.
But how much, obviously they're kind of fighting Notre Dame. Notre Dame's probably got the best fan base over there, just based on the fact that they play games in Ireland every once in a while.
Right.
Nebraska's kind of being that traditional power to try it next. Are they going to be able to compete with Notre Dame, who is the Fighting Irish? I don't know if you're going to convert too many Ireland fans over there.
Rob reminds us Loch Ness is in Scotland, not Ireland. But
that's right. Yeah,
but they're all close.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
You could, if you're going to Ireland, you could easily reach Scotland. Excuse me. They're all by train. You can, or in some cases you have to fly, but it's not a long flight if you have to take a flight. So, and I'm going to do, if I go, I want to see the game. Yeah. And I'm going to do all the things associated with the game, but mostly it's a 2 to 3 week tour of Europe.
And I think that we should both do this and have the Tom and Bock show from over there. We got to convince DP for some of the finances, but Tom and Bock go to Europe. That sounds like a great idea for the show.
Yeah, and DP had that same idea until he became management and realized he would have to pay for it.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Like with the old man, when Ron Romero owned it, it was like, we should do
great
that,
idea.
do our show, and it'd be 2 weeks from Scotland and Ireland, and it would be fantastic. We could travel around and play a little golf, play St. Andrews, and then go to Scotland. It'd be fantastic. And I said, yeah, right, DP. As soon as you get that pay for it, then we'll do it. We're all in.
We'll just start a GoFundMe account now. By then we'll have enough money.
Let's see. We were going to talk about this, and I think now is a good time to bring it up. Hoiberg had some interesting things to say about Nebraska's shooting slump, their shot quality, changing the offense. And let's just start playing the bites and see what triggers us. But this is Fred Hoiberg talking to the media about Nebraska's shot quality and polling guys if they take bad shots. Here it is.
And I put up on the board specific points on what is a good shot and what's a bad shot. We watched every single one of them on the film. And, it's not just the threes, the step back threes, it's the step back mid-range. We were 1 for 13 in the mid-range the other day. Casey being the only one hitting a mid-range shot on a possession that hit the paint first. So it is. We must improve, and the way to improve is pulling guys when they're taking those shots. We've done it on some shots. I need to do it on all shots to get guys out of the lineup when they're taking those rushed, contested shots. They're killing us right now.
We read those quotes, but you could hear the frustration when Hoiberg talks about it. Like, it feels like he's serious. I hope he's serious, right?
Yeah. Was he saying he was calling for more mid-range shots?
Yeah, I know, which is a thing he hates.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
But I think the penetration needs to happen, even if it ends in the mid-range. Kobe's actually a very good mid-range shooter.
Yeah.
I see Casey as a pretty decent mid-range shooter. And I like the fact that when people run out at him, and they've gotten the scouting report on Casey, run out on him, chase him off that line, he's actually pretty good at pulling it down, penetrating, and either taking a mid-range shot, kicking it out, or continuing on to get the layup. I think he's got, and I think it's going to grow his game as he gets bigger and stronger. I think he's going to be very good at all of those things. Right now, it feels like he's trying to prove to everybody that he is the Japanese Steph Curry. And I don't need that. I just need to see production.
Yeah, you kind of got to grow into that at this level, and maybe hit the weight room a little bit. Maybe down the line he'll be, more of that, calling that name calling. So, but I do. We've all tried to figure out different ways, different lineup switches to make this team better and to hit a higher percentage, and they just don't seem to be too much of a 3-point shooting team. So maybe the you don't have to dive too deep in the analytics to say this team can't shoot threes. So I know it goes against the idea of either threes or layups, but if you can't hit threes, maybe it turns into either mid-range or layups. Find a way to score,
right?
and
Inside
be
out,
efficient.
start
Yeah.
inside out, see it go in the hoop, and then work your way out.
Yeah, and if you become a threat in the mid-range, like you said, then that can open up some more open 3-point shots.
And I think sometimes Nebraska's best, like Bryce McGowan's early in the season, was really good at going to the hoop, getting fouled, get to the free throw line, make those, and then that can be your impetus to, start seeing the ball go through the hoop. You see that, and then you start getting more confident. It's a confidence thing. Totally. Fred Hoiberg talking about the mental part of a shooting struggle.
Well, I can sit here and tell them I moved on to the next one, but I was as mental as anybody out there when I shot. I'd get mad at guys for, going over and kicking over a chair when they're not shooting it well. But I was the first guy to kick a ball up into the balcony when I wasn't shooting the ball well, because I cared. And these guys do too. Not one person on our team right now, I can promise you, is satisfied with the way they're shooting the ball. Every single person to a man, and they're putting in work. Right before I went to my radio show the other night, we had a bunch of guys in there getting up shots, continuing to work on ending their slumps. And I know I've been saying this all year. I am confident that we will make shots at some point. I thought the other night was the night when we started out 5 for 10 and took great shots. Thought that was the night where we were going to take the lid off and have a double-digit 3-point shooting effort. It didn't happen. We're 321st out of 328 teams in 3-point shooting right now. I never in a million years would have thought that would be our issue with our team. I had other concerns, but not shooting. So just continue to work. That's all you can do. When I was a player, the only way I could get out of my head was continue to get reps. But it's a miserable feeling. I'm telling you from experience, it is a miserable feeling when you can make them and they're just not going in during the game. So just keep working, keep grinding, and eventually they'll fall.
Yeah, maybe he's going to take a few shots away, but it feels like he's not going to take the green light away from a lot of guys. I thought that's what he meant when he's going to pull guys for bad shots. It feels like a lot of guys still have the green light because he believes they're good shooters, first of all, which I'm not sure. I don't know why you keep saying that. Maybe it's just for confidence purposes. I know you're a good shooter. They will fall at some point. That's what he's saying to his team as much as he's saying that to the media and to the fans. You're good. I've seen you do it. It's going to turn around. But something has to change, and I think a good place to start is where he's starting. Pull guys for shooting bad shots.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see if how much that happens. I mean, and I think we've kind of seen it to a degree with Alonso Verge. Alonso Verge has been pulled for bad shots before, and now he doesn't really take threes. I mean, he took one that was just kind of a bad identification from the rebounder who threw it out to him because there was a few guys open, and he's not the guy you want to throw to for the open three. But I mean, if he's forced to take it, he will. But I think that's a solid step. I think that the idea to get maybe more mid-range could be an idea. We'll see. I want to see some experimentation tonight. Kennesaw State is a team that played with Creighton. They played with Iowa State. So it's not completely just like a exhibition where you're going to beat this team by 40. But it is your kind of last chance to not play anybody outside of the Big Ten. And you got to figure out some sort of recipe to get this team going. And maybe you can fall back on shooting once they get their confidence up, but something needs to happen.
Start inside out. I've heard that for years. Get to the rim. And I think Bryce McGowan's is a guy that can do that. We know that Lonzo Verge certainly is a guy that can get to the rim almost any time that he wants to. But I think that's what Derek Walker does. Most of his shots are around the rim, and that's why he's one of the better field goal shooting centers in the entire country, percentage-wise. There are more guys that I know can. I don't know that Kobe Webster's naturally gifted at going to the rim, or Lat Mayon's naturally gifted at going to the rim. It seems CJ Wilcher is willing to do that, but I think he thinks that he's such a good three-point shooter that he should shoot threes when he's open. But it might not hurt to get a bucket inside. Try something new. And I, like you, am in the camp that he said it. I'm taking guys out if they take bad shots. Now, will he do it consistently? Or is it just done to certain guys? Because that sometimes happens on teams where certain guys still have the green light, even if they're bad shots. Other guys, you're pulled if you take a bad shot. So we'll see. But Kennesaw State tonight, we're not going to learn much other than if Nebraska doesn't win by quite a bit, I'll be disappointed.
Boy, if Nebraska drops this game. And again, it's possible. They played Creighton and Iowa State close. Obviously, Creighton, Nebraska played them close too. So they're not a great team. They're 4-7. For what it's worth, they were 5-19 last year. So they're kind of, kind of like Tim Miles over there. You got a program to build, and they're at least building. But like I said, I mean, they've played better competition close. So they're not going to be scared of Nebraska. Nebraska needs to find a way to get confidence. So this is a get-right game.
Yeah, it is, and it's a must-win, to say the least. I felt like Kansas State was. But I think
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, just what's the must-win anymore? I mean, we kind of talked to Robin Wash the other day about, what's the realistic goal at this point, and with the way they're playing, maybe it would be good to see them get to 5 conference wins. So what's must win mean anymore?
It means must win means you can't lose to Kennesaw State. You cannot.
Fair enough.
You cannot, because you're talking about a team in crisis of confidence. There's a big crisis of confidence going on. I mean, we see it in the shooting. If you lose to Kennesaw State, a team, as you mentioned, 4-7, I don't know how you recover from that anytime soon, because even if they beat Kennesaw State by 50, the schedule is daunting. It's just a very tough basketball schedule in a very tough league, in a league where you've already gotten blown out twice. Actually, Michigan, and then they went on the road to Auburn. The Indiana game was close.
Yeah.
But you need to not only play well, but you need to get some confidence back.
For what it's worth, the Big Ten's not as daunting as it has been in recent years, at least if you just go by the top end. There's not as many, Purdue's obviously up there, but as far as the top of the top 25, there's not 5 or 6 teams up there. But it is interesting. I mean, Minnesota, a team that people expected to be awful this year, is doing pretty good already. And it's just frustrating to see, like, how can Minnesota do that with a former Tim Miles, assistant as coach?
Yep.
And then you see things like at Iowa State where they won 2 games last year and they're in the top 10. I always go back to, like, how does nothing like that ever happen at Nebraska?
Well, the curse is somewhat believable.
Yeah.
There's some sort of curse going on, it feels like. And more importantly, it feels like Nebraska is believing it. Like there's some sort of thing that they're just doomed. You start playing well and Trey McGowan gets injured and you lose Wilhelm Breidenbach, and you can't make threes from guys that we thought were going to be big-time three-point shooters. And they can't seem to execute an offense that they were kind of made for, according to Fred Hoiberg. I think that I was a coach that felt confident going into the season. And when your coach is not confident, that bleeds. I mean, the guys are pretty good at reading their coach. And I think he's still carrying his head up, as high as he can, but he's got to be, what's going wrong? I mean, he's got to be going through the same confidence problem that everybody else is to a certain degree. He's only human. But you've got Ohio State, you've got Michigan State, you got at Rutgers, Illinois, Purdue. I mean, there's not a lot of wins there. There may be no wins there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough stretch in conference play.
Yeah.
And it is hard at this point to convince yourself that they'll get to 500. You're kind of thinking about 5 or 6 wins, but more importantly, and those things can change over the course of a season, obviously, but more importantly is just show some life in the program. And, maybe it can't get started against Kennesaw State. You find something there, and then you get 2 top 25 opponents next. I mean, that can turn the season around. So hopefully they can find something, because I think they have the players there to at least, I keep saying it, put it together for one night. And it seems like they can put it together for 5-minute stretches, but it's never a 40-minute game.
Back to the Trey McGowan's thing. We'll get to Chris Bassnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. If he's there, they're probably still not great because they were struggling even with him there. But they're also not 5-7. They're probably at least a couple wins better than that. They've had a couple of winnable games. You'd like to think a 4 overtime game that he would have made one play that would have made the difference in that against North Carolina State. And maybe you get some momentum from that if he's there.
Yeah.
I think not having him is a huge loss. And I'm not making excuses, because this team is bad. And it was bad even with Trey. Not bad, but it was still not great.
Well, he's by far their best
Yeah.
perimeter defender.
Yeah.
So, even if you don't think about the offensive, I mean, and those dunks that he could do could breathe some life into the team, but especially that perimeter defense. And it goes back to the thing where if you're not shooting, you have to have something to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
And, at least with him, maybe you could say that you could hang your hat on defense here and there, but without him, you just don't have it. You don't have an enforcer or a guy on defense that you're particularly scared of. I think Verge is an excellent on-ball defender too at times when he's plugged in. But he's not what McGowan's was.
Yeah. I think back to that early loss. Was it South Dakota State or South Dakota? That was just an awful loss to begin the season.
Oh, the Western Michigan loss?
Western Michigan. Oh, sorry, Western Michigan.
Yeah.
They beat South Dakota State, right? South Dakota. But yeah, Western Michigan, that loss 75-74.
Western Illinois
Illinois was a really bad loss. That you look back at that, and that's just
to start the season.
That gave you a bad taste in your mouth. Let's get to break. Come back with Chris Bassnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. We'll do that next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
But why is Nebraska not a hungry program? Why does Michigan come in with hunger? Where's the hunger? Where's the... Nebraska doesn't play like a hungry team. Even on its best nights, it doesn't look like a very hungry team. Right?
No.
They're not killers.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers says let it snow because a white New Year's Eve could mean free jewelry. Shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Holiday savings throughout the store. 36 months interest-free financing with approved credit. And remember, shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Sutter Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljob.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatchback burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. You can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets. Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect sunny skies and mild temperatures as we'll top out at around 52. Winds out of the southwest at around 10. Overnight, mainly clear, a low dropping down to around 30. We will continue our climb in temps as we head into our Thursday with an afternoon high approaching 55. And by Christmas Eve, highs could be into the 60s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nelson Gas and Oil in Valparaiso would like to take this time to salute our military, veterans, and first responders who are there for us year-round. It's their commitment and bravery that makes our country and community safe. Let's all take a moment to give them the respect that they deserve. This message is brought to you by Nelson Gas and Oil, who has serviced the farm community for over 50 years. Nelson Gas and Oil appreciates our farmers and is always available at 402-784-3201. Nelson Gas and Oil, on the air honoring our military, veterans, and first responders this holiday season.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. It is Tom and Bock. Tom Stevens, Jake Bachhoven. I was checking the forecast, Jake. Looks really good today. Right around 53 degrees tomorrow, 54. 59 on Thursday, 63 Friday for Christmas Eve.
Wow.
I was thinking golfing.
Yeah, you've got to do some, when you get the chance, you got to do some Christmas Eve golf. That's very rare, right?
Chris Basnett's a golfer, world famous, really good. Hits the ball a million miles. And sometimes you actually even know where it's going. He hits it hard. He's right there with Sorensen. He and Sorensen are two really good golfers. I'm asking, can you get out? Can you legitimately get out of the house on Christmas Eve? Like, just say, I'm hitting the drugstore or something like that, and 3 hours later you come back home.
Yeah, so you get some Christmas shopping.
And that's right. I've got some Christmas shopping to do, and then it's actually the golf course. You ever pulled that stunt, Chris?
I have not played on Christmas Eve. I have played on Christmas Day, however.
So you just left the house.
I wasn't able to sneak out on Christmas Eve. I got her done on the big day for sure.
So how did that conversation go? It's Christmas Day. Everybody's opening gifts, and Chris, you just say, "To hell with all of you. I'm going golfing."
That's exactly what I said, actually. No, it was one of those weird. I was back home. My family is a big golf family, so my dad came with me, so I had an out there. Mom could be mad at Dad, not at me, so it was just one of those nice days, and we just snuck out and got a quick 9 in back at the hometown course.
My anniversary happens New Year's Eve, and it's our 6th anniversary. It's an iron, we celebrate with iron this year, so I asked for a 7-iron. Because I need a brand new 7-iron. I left it somewhere, which I can't. I'm going through my head where I possibly could have left a 7-iron. Sometimes you leave a wedge right around the green.
Sure.
That happens. We've all done that. And sometimes you have the trick where you put the flag stick next to your club, but now everybody leaves the flag in. So I think it causes me to lose clubs.
Well, it sounds like you might just need a whole new set because,
That's right.
and that's what I would tell your wife as well, because the chances
That's
are
right.
high you might lose another club.
That's right. It's our anniversary. It's iron. So I've got to get a full set of clubs. Did you
There you
watch
go.
any of Tiger and his son?
Just caught a few highlights on Twitter. Made sure to sit my own 11-month-old son and force him to watch it for a while. But other than that, no.
If you knew that your son had talent, like he's like a Charlie, right? He could be a really good golfer. Just say, get out there. Come on. What are you doing watching cartoons? Get to the driving range now. I mean, if you really believed your kid was that talent, would you push him?
Oh yeah, I'd probably push him a little. I'd like to think I'm not going to be one of those crazy dads that makes him practice 12 or 14 hours a day. But I'd certainly lean on him a little bit to stay out there a little longer, probably.
Oh, I'd lean on him all the time. If they had big time talent,
I know you would.
Get out there, do something. Shooting has been the big topic of conversation. Fred Hoiberg spoke to you and spoke to the rest of the media about the shooting woes. And he says, I'm pulling guys. I've had it. I'm pulling guys if they take bad shots. Do you think he waited maybe a little too long?
Yeah, I do. It needed to start game one. I mean, when they lost to Western Illinois, you can't screw around with this stuff. It's not an NBA season where you get 82 chances to figure it out. It's a college season where you get 30, and now you're through the non-conference where you only play, 10 games, 11 games, and 10 games in the non-conference. You just don't have that many chances to get it right and to send a message. So yeah, it needed to happen earlier. I think we'll see if it happens, how much it happens tonight. If it happens and it works, then better late than never, I suppose. But yeah, with something like this, and the other side of it is, I think Fred thought his team was going to just shoot it a lot better, and they haven't, and it just hasn't gotten any better. So you let them play through some of that with the hopes they figure it out. But yeah, you can't screw around with it. It's time to send them. It's past time to send a message, and we'll see if that does the trick tonight.
How much of this, and I asked Bock this yesterday, we had a conversation about it, is that maybe they threw a roster together a little bit based on talent rather than how well the guys fit together?
Yeah, I think that's always part of the deal when you're doing something like this. And certainly there's talented guys there and a lot of people out there that recognize these guys are talented, but if the pieces don't fit, they don't fit. And it's pretty clear right now that something isn't working. Now, whether that's leading to Nebraska shooting 25% from 3-point range, I don't know. That's maybe part of it, but at the end of the day, you gotta make shots. So, I don't know. It's a team game, right? And you build team by having guys together and having guys together for a while. And this is part of the changing landscape of college sports. But in my mind, and this is just the way I've grown up watching sports and covering sports, it's a lot easier to build team when guys are together for a couple of years. So yeah, certainly I think there's probably some of that where the pieces maybe don't quite fit, and whether that has anything to do with the shooting, I'm not real sure.
Do you think there's a possibility? Fred kind of spoke to it maybe the other day of maybe trying to incorporate the mid-range a little bit more because, the 3-point shot has just been so bad. They need to find something to change the recipe a little bit, I feel like, unless they're just going to hope that eventually these shots start falling. But, you're 12 games into the season.
Yeah, I mean, they need to incorporate whatever shots are going to go in. It doesn't matter if it's mid-range or 3-pointers or layups or whatever it is. Fred had the stat yesterday. They were 1 for 13 on mid-range against their last opponent, so against Kansas State, and so maybe that doesn't matter either. They've got to find a way to manufacture shots that they know they can make. And right now, I don't know if this is a team that thinks they can make any shots, and confidence is a part of this deal too. And we were talking about golf at the top of this, and it's just like standing over a 3-foot putt. If you don't have the confidence you're going to make it, you're probably not going to make it. So there's some of that too, and it's never any one thing when it goes this bad, I don't think. But yeah, certainly they need to incorporate whatever shots they can make, whatever shots guys are comfortable with. They have to find something at this point that works to get the offense going.
Chance to get a win. 5-7 Huskers take on Kennesaw State, I believe 4-7. Not a good basketball team, but I guess every game you're concerned about. Are you concerned about this one?
Yeah, there's no guarantees, and this team has not given us any reason to have guarantees. They lost to Western Illinois in the opener, so proving they can lose to anybody now. Kennesaw State has 4 wins. 3 of them are against teams that aren't even Division I teams. So there's that part of it too. But this is a team that pushed Creighton hard, that pushed that pushed a couple other high major teams hard, pushed Iowa State hard in the season opener. They aren't going to roll over for Nebraska, and they know Nebraska's vulnerable right now. They see the record, they see the results the last few games, so they're going to come in here thinking they can get a win. So yeah, on paper it looks like it's a game Nebraska should win, but there's absolutely no guarantees right now with this team, and they're going to have to play well tonight. They're going to have to play better than they have if they want to win.
Chris Passant joining us. Jumping over to football, looks like Nebraska might lose their defensive line coach in Tony Tuioti. How big of a loss do you think that is for this makeover that's happening on the offensive side of the ball? Might have to add some ingredients on defense too.
Yeah, it's a big loss, I think, and it's a big loss because I think Tony Tuioti is a really good coach. We've seen what he's done with that defensive line the past couple of years, turning guys like Ben Stilley, Damian Daniels into really good players. Some of those younger guys have come along really nicely as well. They had some depth there. They were making progress there. So clearly that's a guy that knows what he's doing, that knows how to get the most out of his guys. He's a solid recruiter, and so you hate to lose a guy like that. That's the business, unfortunately, fair or not. And Nebraska's got to deal with it too. But yeah, now there's just one more coaching spot Scott Frost has to interview guys for and get a hire made on top of what he's doing on offense. So from that point of view, it's just another added layer of difficulty for Scott Frost as he tries to get this staff put together. So yeah, big loss for Nebraska because I think Tony Tuioti was a guy that was a really, really solid coach and was really good about getting the most out of his guys.
And he is a good recruiter, and maybe going back to the Pac-12 where he kind of knows the lay of the land there. I guess I was concerned that Travis Fisher might be somebody that other staffs might try to poach or other coaches might try to get along with Eric Shenander. You think they're out of the woods, or are there other coaches that will be considered for jobs?
Yeah, I don't know if you're ever out of the woods in college football. They very well might be, and this very well might be the last turnover we see. But look, it's a crazy sport and it's a crazy business, right? And guys can leave at any time. Guys can get hired at any time. Guys can get fired at any time. But it's a sport where people move around, whether they're players or whether they're coaches. So I don't know. I don't think you never say never when it comes to coach movement this time of year, because there's still plenty of spots out there that need to be filled. But at the same time, I think Eric Shenander probably feels like he has a pretty good deal going at Nebraska, and he may want to see that out. But again, there's no guarantees in this sport, so we'll just have to wait and see.
And Keaton Slovis now out of the transfer portal, now at Pitt. I think for a lot of Husker fans that looks like to be the guy. Does that shake your belief in what they're doing, or do you think they're it just seems like a lot of teams are getting their answer out of the transfer portal. Nebraska maybe staying patient, maybe it's by design.
Yeah, could be by design. Who knows? It's tough to tell what goes on behind the scenes with a lot of this stuff, and who knows how much they talked to Keaton Slovis, who knows how much they talked to some of these other guys. Clearly it was guys they were targeting, but this isn't the end of the world. There's still guys out there. Maybe Mark Whipple sees a guy that's a better fit. Maybe Mark Whipple knows a guy that's going to be going into the transfer portal that's a better fit. There's a lot of bowl games yet to be played and a lot of quarterbacks yet that could enter the transfer portal before this thing's all said and done. So yeah, I don't think it's a time to push the panic button or anything like that. There's still plenty of time for Nebraska to get this done. They need to make sure they get the right guy if they're going to do this. So you don't want to just rush out and grab a guy just because you feel like you need to grab a guy. So it would not surprise me to see Nebraska stay patient and wait for the right guy if that's indeed what they're doing.
Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Are you in or out on Mannheim Steamroller?
I'm in. I'm a huge, now I'll cash that by saying I'm a huge Christmas music guy. I love Christmas music. I love the Christmas season. So I listen to all of it. So I'm in on Mannheim Steamroller.
How soon is too early? Because you heard some stations start playing Christmas music the day after Halloween. Is that okay?
That's a little early for me. I usually try and wait till the day after Christmas before I get really into it. So I at least try and wait till the end of the month, end of November, beginning of December.
All right. Good stuff, Chris. We'll talk to you again next week. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
I'm out on Mannheim Steamroller. Sacrilege to say, because, Mr. Davis is the leader of Mannheim's. Chip Davis is the genius behind Mannheim Steamroller.
Yeah.
And they're from Nebraska. But I just don't think there's a lot to turning on a computer and letting it play music.
Well, if it was that easy, why wouldn't everybody do it?
Not everybody could build that. He gets more credit probably for building that monstrosity than for anything else. But doesn't he bring in a big computer-generated music machine? He flips on the switch and he says, enjoy. And then he walks away for about 3 hours and then he comes back. There's a big, he's there waving his arms, conducting the show. But I don't know. I'm not a Mannheim Steamroller believer. Jake Sorensen and I had a big fight about it earlier today.
Sorensen went to the concert last night. He was distraught that they didn't let him bring his wine in to watch Mannheim Steamroller.
Yeah, he could go buy you could go buy the wine, but then you have to drink it where they serve the wine.
Yeah, before you get in to settle into your seats.
Which is kind of defeats the purpose of having the wine. You want to bring it back to your chair, maybe give your wife a glass. You're usually the errand boy, right?
Yeah.
That's what you do, and you bring back the treats.
If you're a gentleman.
But I think because of COVID, they've said no.
Yeah. So he chugged the wine.
So he just
and then went and sat down.
That seems like good, safe fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not a Mannheim. I do like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, though.
I like orchestras in general. I just think that it just sounds amazing. All of them coming together, and it's just a lot of instruments making beautiful music, as opposed to a band where it's like 5 instruments.
Chris Bassinet is a big Christmas music guy. Are you listening to Christmas music in the car?
I wouldn't say I'm a huge Christmas music guy, but I don't mind it as much as others do. Some people get pretty frustrated. I should do I still haven't done it. I should do my top 10 Christmas songs tomorrow.
I want to hear it. We can compare notes, agree, disagree. We'll get a lot of texts on that.
Yeah.
For that's a big texter. We have to at least do it tomorrow because we're off on Friday. So you don't have a lot of time. Put that on your list for tomorrow. Top Christmas songs. It's always controversial.
Yes.
Were you a little surprised that Jay Foreman says his favorite Christmas song is Silent Night?
That is very surprising. I can't see anybody really getting down to that too much.
I just think of it as a mellow tune, and I think of Jay as a hip happening guy.
Kind of an intense personality.
Yeah. I just thought it would be a song that's a little more upbeat than Silent Night.
Never judge a book by its cover.
That's right. That's unfair to do that. That's why I asked those questions. What's your favorite Christmas song? And people sometimes will give you surprising answers. I think I would go with Bing and Bowie. Drummer Boy. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Little Drummer Boy is one of my favorites. That's a great duet. Do you call it a duet when it's two guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think it's still called a duet.
Why wouldn't it be called a duet?
I don't know. I'm just checking. Let's get to break. And let's see. Box Top's a little bit later on. But in the meantime, we've got the blog jog with Rico. It's coming up next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Big Red Towing reminds motorists every 6 days a tow truck driver is killed while helping stranded motorists. So if you see a vehicle with emergency lights flashing, just know you're required by law to move over and slow down. Let's get tow truck drivers home safely to their families. Slow down and move over. You may save a life. This message from Big Red Towing. For all your towing needs, whether light, medium, or heavy duty, call the professionals at 402-475-4869. That's Big Red Towing, on the air because they care.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric always makes safety a top priority for our home and office. In under just 1 hour, their team installed the state-of-the-art air scrubber system directly into our existing HVAC ductwork. This technology purifies the air and reduces exposure to common bacteria and viruses, creating a safer breathing environment for my family. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Nelson Gas and Oil in Valparaiso would like to take this time to salute our military, veterans, and first responders who are there for us year-round. It's their commitment and bravery that makes our country and community safe. Let's all take a moment to give them the respect that they deserve. This message is brought to you by Nelson Gas and Oil, who has serviced the farm community for over 50 years. Nelson Gas and Oil appreciates our farmers and is always available at 402-784-3201. Nelson Gas and Oil, on the air honoring our military, veterans, and first responders this holiday season.
This year, show her she's the one with 1-carat diamond jewelry from Riddle's Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1-carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1-carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
Located in Gateway Mall.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop, located at 5001 O Street.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
A new Planet Fitness location is open near you. To celebrate, you can join for just $1 down and then $10 a month. We're squeaky clean and ready to welcome you with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out. So join the judgment-free zone today. We're ready when you are. Just $1 down, $10 a month. Offer ends soon. Join us today.
A brand new Planet Fitness location is now open at 84th and Layton.
Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
Grab yourself a hot dog, pour a glass of eggnog, and settle in. This is the Blog Shop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Somebody asking on the text line if I'm a big Alvin and the Chipmunks fan. I would say no. I don't like it.
Which one's your favorite among Alvin or the others?
I don't really have a favorite. They made that whole thing into a there's a movie around it. I mean, there's been a couple of different movies, Alvin's and the Chipmunks. I mean, they were very, very famous for a while. And that goes back to, I think, the 50s, that song.
Yeah, that's an old cartoon, right?
They do multiple songs, right? They do several songs. They're a whole band. They're a whole outfit. But I don't generally like Christmas novelty songs. Grandma got run over by the reindeer after you heard it a couple of times. I'm out. I liked it when I first heard it, and then it was played.
Was it the Witch Doctor? Was that the one their best song? Probably the Alvin and the Chipmunks. That wasn't a Christmas song, but
that wasn't a Christmas song. I like the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, so you do like some of them.
I guess I didn't hate that song. I wanted Hippopotamus for Christmas. Not a big fan of that. I liked Bob and Doug, the 12 Days of Christmas, and a beer. They would always end it with a beer. That was funny. I still listen to that. But any favorite novelty Christmas songs, Rico, that you could think of?
No.
Do you like Christmas music?
I do.
You have a favorite Christmas song?
This Christmas.
Well, how's that go?
Oh, this Christmas? You mean Last Christmas by Wham?
No, This Christmas.
This Christmas.
How's this Christmas
Sing it.
go?
I think. Is it called This Christmas?
This Christmas. That's Last Christmas.
That was Last Christmas.
No, Last Christmas is Last Christmas.
That's right.
I gave you my heart. That's a good one.
But you like This Christmas, but you can't sing
This Christmas is a
But it's his favorite song.
It can't be your favorite.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're
I know
lying about.
I know what I'm talking about. I'm not lying to you.
You're lying to us.
I know what I'm talking about.
You're
Is this a song?
Maybe you guys don't know.
And you were just trying to make
It's by
up
Donny Hathaway.
Is that like a
Buddy,
buddy
huh?
of yours? You guys in the
No.
garage?
You know what it
You
is.
just looked at, man, your cold's getting bad. I hope you're okay for Christmas.
I'll be fine.
All
I
right.
just lost my voice. It's like a 2-day thing. It'll be back.
Were you screaming at the Knicks the other day?
No, I didn't get to watch it. It was
Yeah.
not.
The
on-
good thing
not
about
on
Rico
national
is he's
television.
in the office, but he's in a natural bubble in there, so we're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
safe.
I don't talk to people.
Well, you do talk to people, but we keep you in a bubble area.
Yeah.
When you do it.
Don't touch
Right.
anything on your way
Don't
out.
touch anything and
Touching
spray,
everything.
spray down that whole studio. when you leave.
Coughing on everything.
Do you watch any of your 60 DVDs you took from or Blu-rays and DVDs?
Well, not
You
yet.
took from
no.
Schaefer?
I
Not yet.
will.
You
I
haven't
didn't,
watched them?
no.
Oh, okay.
What's on the blog, Jug? What do you got?
Some stuff and some things.
Of course.
Like, I don't know if either one of you is going to care about this, but I think it's funny. Microsoft can't get enough Xbox Series X consoles for its first major Halo tournament. The company that makes Xboxes can't get Xboxes for the tournament for an Xbox.
Were they holding a tournament in like New York or something?
I think it's overseas. I don't know where
Okay.
it's going.
It's probably
where the
shipped from
tournament is.
China, right?
But is the Xbox having the same problem PlayStation is, where they just don't have enough like production?
There,
to sell
there-
'em?
well, there was that at the beginning of the pandemic. There was like a certain part of the Xbox and the PlayStations that they didn't have enough of.
Yeah.
So they
Is
couldn't
that done
produce
with
a
now?
lot of them. I thought so, but apparently it's not. There's still,
I
people
think
are
it's still-
struggling to get PlayStations
Yeah, I think it's
and
still
Xboxes.
hard to get them.
Let me ask both of you guys, because you're both gamers. Would you ever pay to watch really great gamers play games?
I don't pay, but I do watch them play.
What's thrilling about it, Bock?
No, they're really good at it.
Yeah, what makes them? I mean, what makes them great? Because you can't see them really push. I mean, you can see them push the buttons, but
See their strategies, or
is it the strategies? Is that it?
Sometimes you kind of see some things that you never thought about doing, and you're like, oh, maybe I could do that. You see like the different combinations of things that they put together in a game, and you're just like, oh, okay, I get that. That makes sense.
Can you talk to those dudes when they're doing it? Like if you
if you watch on like Twitch or YouTube or something, you can like comment. There's no,
yeah,
very little chance that they actually read it because there's also thousands of other people commenting. But yeah,
and they're busy gaming. I never will do that because I spent enough of my youth watching my brother play Mario, while I was
Yeah.
waiting for my turn. I was Luigi.
Yeah, but
Mario just kept running.
He wasn't
going
one of
through.
the world's best at it.
No, I mean, I eventually get my turn. I'm just saying I had a lot of time watching other people play,
That's right.
mainly my brother, because I had to wait for my turn.
Yeah.
That I don't really want to watch people play anymore.
Yeah, your turn never seemed to come up, so you just had
Yeah.
to continue watching and
I
begging.
also like
brother.
I'll watch people play games that I'm considering getting. I'm like, I don't know if I really want this game. And
Yeah,
I'll watch
that's a
people
good
play,
idea.
and I'm just like, oh, okay, this does look fun.
Yeah. I don't really play too many games outside of sports gaming, so I kind of understand just shoot the ball, here's- push this button to block. I'm not a huge gamer.
How much money can you make in some of these tournaments?
A lot.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
Upwards of 6 figures.
Yeah. If you win the Halo tournament, I'm
Like-
sure.
Yeah. And then you get more endorsement opportunities off of that.
It is amazing that you could make money and 6 figures from playing a game that you want to play for free. That you did play
Well, you
for
have to
free.
pay
and you
like
got-
$60 for it.
But you got good at it.
Yeah.
Because it was just something you enjoyed.
And I just like it because parents, for the longest time, told you that was a big waste of time and you'll
You
never
can't
be
make money
anything.
playing video
And now,
games.
now it's a lie.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are making money on
see?
games.
If you would have let me play more,
Yeah. You screwed up.
I wouldn't
what
have been
else
in
you-
radio.
That's right. I wouldn't be in radio right now. Be doing something. Maybe I'd be a gamer.
Yeah.
What else you got?
This comes from BBC.com. In Madagascar, their minister had to swim for 12 hours after his helicopter crashed at sea.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
How do you do? I couldn't swim for 15 minutes. I'd drown.
If I was in a helicopter and it crashed at sea, I'm dead. That's it. I'm not. No,
You're just giving up?
I'm done.
Although that would be kind of cool. Like, it's going down and you have
Yeah.
to jump out. You're like a Navy SEAL. That'd be a pretty cool moment, but you'd be scared for your life.
Yeah, they were flying to inspect the site of a shipwreck, and the helicopter went down.
Well, that's insult to injury.
There was
there.
probably wreckage that he could grab onto at least and float.
I would hope so. Some people can just kind of float anyway, like in water. Can you do that? Can you float?
Yeah. I'm a very.
I don't understand how to do that. I can't float. I sink.
I don't know if I told you guys, but I was a pretty good high school
That's
swimmer.
right. You could swim for 12 hours easy.
Yeah. What was your best? What was the best
I
stroke?
was a breaststroker.
Yes, you are.
I was a breaststroker. And our relay team actually finished like third in the state.
I like this response from Shane about your video game thing about watching people play video games. Shane says Tom watches people golf.
That's right. I do.
It's the same concept, isn't it?
That's right. I'll watch people golf and I'll as long as I get a golf. I won't watch people golf if I can't.
People don't want to hear it, but like watching sports is kind of like the same as watching video games. You're watching somebody do something you can't do.
Yeah.
That's exactly
You're watching somebody really good at something do something that you can't do. And everybody's like, well, you can play video games. Like, yeah, but I can't play like them.
Yeah.
I can shoot a basketball. I can't shoot like LeBron James or Steph Curry.
But some of the people, the most brilliant people in the world are like physicists. Would you go pay money to watch a physicist work?
Some people would.
Or a great doctor?
I'm sure some
I
people
don't like
would.
blood. I'm not going to.
I'm sure there are people who would pay money to watch a heart surgeon perform heart surgery.
Oh, I like back in like the 1800s. They used to have like whole like arenas for people to go watch people perform surgery.
Yeah.
And they didn't know about germs and stuff, so they just like hand me the old rusty scissors. Here's how you do it.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, everybody, look at this knife that I'm going to use. And they pass it around the crowd, and somebody's like drinking a beer and spills it on the knife. And they're like, it'll be fine.
When I went in to get heart surgery, the second time, it was a major surgery, and I go, "You're good, right?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm really good." I go, "Why'd you get into this? What made you want to be a doctor?" And he says, "I like the adrenaline rush."
Ooh.
I was kind of.
Is that what you want to hear?
Yeah, actually, I was actually relieved more than I just want to help people because you might want to help people and just not be very skilled. But he likes being in that environment.
I like the life or death situation. I love it when they flatline and then I bring them back.
I love saving people's lives.
It's amazing. Sometimes I mess with them.
But people do complain about doctors taking vacations too much. To me, take as many vacations as you want. When you go to work, you're dealing with life and death.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Do you want your doctor to be stressed out?
No.
But no matter what you do, no matter how much money you give them, they're going to be stressed out.
Oh yeah. And you have to be.
Yeah, but you give them a week off. You give them 2 weeks off. They can go wherever they want to go, have some fun.
Yeah, but the doctors I know, they don't. I mean, some of them they're so stressed because they work 12, 16-hour day. Especially COVID has driven a lot of doctors up a tree.
Yeah.
And that's a hard profession.
Doctors need vacations too.
That's right. I feel terrible for doctors. It's a tough life. Thank you, Rico. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Let's get to break. Come back with Box Tops. What's the topic today?
Oh, well, it's Kennesaw State Day, so we're going to go through. They don't have enough alumni, but we're going to go through Kennesaw State facts. There's a few alumni I'll throw in there as well. So Kennesaw State facts.
All right. That's who Nebraska is playing tonight at PBA at 6:30. So we'll talk a little Kennesaw State via the Box Tops. We'll do it coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect sunny skies and mild temperatures as we'll top out at around 52. Winds out of the southwest at around 10. Overnight, mainly clear, a low dropping down to around 30. We will continue our climb in temps as we head into our Thursday with an afternoon high approaching 55. And by Christmas Eve, highs could be into the 60s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you been told your furnace has a cracked heat exchanger? Before you spend money needlessly, call Bryant for a free second opinion. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric always makes safety a top priority for our home and office. In under just 1 hour, their team installed the state-of-the-art air scrubber system directly into our existing HVAC ductwork. This technology purifies the air and reduces exposure to common bacteria and viruses, creating a safer breathing environment for my family. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. We saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto on West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Carper for O Street Carpet. For Christmas, we're doing everything possible to help you spruce up your home without making a dent in your holiday budget. If you need new wood flooring, new carpet, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you want to shop at O Street Carpet. We offer 12 months same-as-cash financing, Lincoln's best selection in stock, free in-home measuring, and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
A new Planet Fitness location is open near you. To celebrate, you can join for just $1 down and then $10 a month. We're squeaky clean and ready to welcome you with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out. So join the judgment-free zone today. We're ready when you are. Just $1 down, $10 a month. Offer ends soon. Join us today.
A brand new Planet Fitness location is now open at 84th and Lake.
Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See Club for details.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppell Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
Hey, what day is it?
To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bockoven.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans. And when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the game.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Hour number 2 of Tom and Bock, a 4-hour show today because Happer is doing PA, as he always does, for Husker women's basketball versus Wyoming today. So we got in early. It was almost like a rehearsal from 10 to 11. Now everything will go smoothly from there on out. The 11 o'clock hour, not one mistake. I counted all the mistakes. That's what I do during the shows, count the mistakes, and I didn't see one in the 11 o'clock hour. So that's big news. Joe Johnson is returning to the NBA.
All right, ISO Joe.
He used to be, that's right, he used to be a Celtic. But because of COVID, and we mentioned like the Lakers, they've had 17 different starting lineups. They've had COVID, and their coach isn't even available, and they've got injuries within the roster. So you're seeing replacement players. Joe Johnson is 40 years old.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's even playing in his driveway much.
When's the last time he played?
It's been a while.
Last time was 2017, 2018 with Houston when he averaged 6 points.
He's expected to play in tonight's game versus the Cavaliers. So look for that. I mean, I know the Christmas Day games are in jeopardy. The NHL has closed down their season, at least temporarily. I don't think it'll happen with the NBA because you can go the replacement route, and the NFL can go via practice squads, which you're seeing a lot of. But rosters are going to be a mess, as they have been. You just talked about Gilbert, who played last night, and I didn't even know that he was still in the league playing for the Washington football team. So teams are going to find a way to get these games in because it means so much money. But if you're a fan, You get to see Joe Johnson, who hasn't played since 2017, suit up for the Celtics.
He probably played in the Big Three or whatever that was since then. He did. He was actually really good in the Big Three. He won the second Big Three MVP title in September. So
nice.
He's been doing good in the Big Three. Maybe that's what brought him back. And for Celtics fans, it's a reunion for a guy that should have never been traded. He was drafted by the Celtics and traded. He could have been he's a 7-time All-Star. They traded him after one season. He could have been kind of growing along with Paul Pierce during that whole time. Instead, he was traded for Rodney Rogers and Tony Delk. Ugh.
Yeah, yucky. And he had a nice career. Obviously, after he left the Celtics, things went very well for Joe Johnson. So there you go. The Hall of Fame, by the way, not the inductees, but the nominees have been mentioned.
For the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame class? I'll run through a few of these names. Let's say you get to choose 2 names out of these 5 to go. I don't know what the specific rules, but just to make it fun, to put it all on Tom, it's fun to choose this.
Sure.
You could choose between Manu Ginobili, Tom Chambers, Chauncey Billups, Richard Hamilton, Sean Marion, Tim Hardaway, and Muggsy Bogues and Mark Jackson. You get two picks. Who would be going into the Hall of Fame?
Okay. Well, one is Ginobili.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's the headliner, and it's the first time for him to be nominated.
Give me the other names again. Just so
Tom Chambers.
I think Tom Chambers. He could dunk.
He's a first-time nominee as well.
Could really shoot.
Yeah, 5-time All-Star. It's kind of funny because these class, like there's teams, there's like years where it's just like, okay, these guys are automatically in. And then there's just a list of these guys, which are all like 5-time All-Stars, which is kind of in the middle of, are they Hall of Fame or are they just really good players for the day? Tom Chambers was a 5-time All-Star. Chauncey Billups was a 5-time All-Star. Richard Hamilton, a 3-time All-Star. Sean Marion, a 4-time All-Star. Tim Hardaway, a 5-time All-Star. And Muggsy Bogues. No All-Star games. What is 5'3"?
I might go Hardaway.
Yeah.
I might go Hardaway. Yeah, I definitely think
his days with the Heat were really fun. Alonzo Mourning and yeah.
And now now I guess you still hear the name because his son, I believe, still plays.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is pretty good for the Mavericks.
But he was great at Kansas State. Was great in the NBA. Talking about a mid-range game, Tim Hardaway. And Junior's more of a 3-point shooter, and now everybody's a 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
But Tim Hardaway was, I think, pretty much alone, brought almost solely brought Kansas State to the Elite Eight one year. Those were some really good teams that at Kansas State under Hardaway Jr. And Hardaway now Hardaway Jr. Hardaway then.
Yeah.
Let's get to box tops. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Here's box tops.
All right. Usually we do the top 10 alumni for schools that are playing Nebraska. This is during the football season, but I decided to bring it back once in a while when it's an obscure team like Kennesaw State. Unfortunately, my research didn't bring me to too many of their alumni. It's actually a rather new school. So I'll get to that. So I just kind of have facts about Kennesaw State.
All right.
Some about the basketball program, some about the city, and some about their alumni. So we'll start with the basketball team here. Amir Abdur-Rahim is actually the head coach of the team. You'll see him tonight. The brother of Sharif, who was an all-star in 2002. Amir has not had a good go at it so far as he's building the Kennesaw State program. They were 1-28 in his first year, 5-19 last season, but off to a 4-7 start this year. Though, as we heard from Chris Bastin, a few of their wins are not against Division I opponents.
Yeah, but if you improve every year, I mean, ultimately that leads to a winning record.
Right.
He won one game his first year.
Yeah, 1-28. That's
5 last year, and now 4 this year so far.
Yeah.
So he's going to eclipse what he did last year.
So if Nebraska does lose tonight, it would be a huge feather in the cap of Kennesaw State and Amir Abdur-Rahim.
As he mentioned, Chris Bastin mentioned, they played Creighton really tough.
And Iowa State.
They played Iowa State pretty tough. This is not going to. If Nebraska thinks it's a gimme, boy, I hope they don't. But if they think it's a gimme, they could be in real trouble tonight.
Yeah. All right, let's go to one of their alumni. Not so high on the list, but as you know, I'm a wrestling fan, so I got to mention one when there's in there. Bronson Ricksteiner is not better known as Braun Breaker right now. He fights under the WWE brand NXT. He's a second generation professional wrestler, as many of them are. Okay. He's the son of Rick Steiner, nephew of Scott Steiner, who I tried to ask you before if you knew who Big Papa Pump was. That's Scott Steiner. But they were better known. They were a great tag team, the Steiner brothers. So it doesn't, I guess, the son is now giving it a go. He was actually a football player at Kennesaw State too, though, and was signed by the Baltimore Ravens as an undrafted free agent in 2020. So he's just making the transition.
Oh, wow.
Now, I guess, giving up on football and moving over to wrestling.
Yeah, that's usually how it happens, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Russ Francis did it years ago, was a tight end in the NFL, became a wrestler. Gronk tried it a little bit.
Yeah.
You've seen other football players give it a go.
Gronk was really bad.
It's never, let's go to WWE and then go to the NFL.
And then go to the NFL, right.
It's always the reverse.
And now, we mentioned it not too long ago, but the WWE is getting in on this NIL deal and signed like 10 different athletes from around the nation. So that's kind of cool.
DP,
so he'd probably be part of it.
DP follows WWE at a really high level, and he knows a lot of these guys. And the physical toll that you take as a wrestler, I mean, we all know it's not completely real, but the injuries are real.
Yeah, and that's what I have fun watching it. Some people would make fun of me for watching it because obviously some people just call it a soap opera for men or whatever, and it is. But the fascinating part is to how do you book everybody around the injuries, around the crowd reactions, and it's a 20. They do it every week, every year, two shows. They never stop. There's no off season,
right.
So you got to keep these things rolling. It's kind of fascinating to follow. Yeah. How about number 8 on my list for Kennesaw State facts? Kennesaw State's university mascot is Scrappy the Owl. The live owl they used to have a live owl named Sturgis. It was a great horned owl and was their first ever live mascot. However, in 2019, Sturgis's owner in Kennesaw State were unable to come to an agreement regarding a contract for the owl, so they decided to part ways. Now they just have Scrappy.
No, Scrappy's okay, but they should also have the real owl.
A live owl.
But do you bring it to games and just cage it, or do you release it in stadiums?
I think that they let it fly at least.
It's trained to fly away and then come back.
I believe it was. I'm not
Some
sure
of those birds are, but I would always be
Yeah.
worried that it would just go kill somebody or just fly away.
I don't think the owls kill people.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't take on an owl.
I wouldn't bring my dog around an owl. They
That's
might
a
go after
predator.
him. Yeah.
It's a predator.
How about number 7 on my list? Kennesaw State University Stadium is now known as Fifth Third Bank Stadium. Fifth Third Bank Stadium.
Fifth Third.
Yes.
I get it.
You don't want to go play the Fifth Third Bank Stadium. It's in Kennesaw, Georgia, that is primarily used for the football team as well as the women's soccer team and lacrosse team. The seating capacity is 8,300. But if they hold concerts there, they can hold up to 16,000. So they can double it. If obviously you use the field. And
Have
such.
they been how long have they been D1? Have they been D1 forever?
I've got that stat. You have to wait. You have to wait further
good.
on the list.
That's right.
for
Don't get
yeah.
antsy.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
All right. Number 6 on my list of Kennesaw State facts. Spaceship Earth is a sculpture on campus. Kind of a fun story. A 350,000-pound sculpture entitled Spaceship Earth is on campus, created by Finnish-American artist Eno. He just goes by one name. The sculpture was intended to be a permanent reminder to future generations to take care of their delicate planet. However, in late December 2006, only 3 months after installation on campus, the structure collapsed.
So it's obviously not a school of engineers.
No, and it's not a great reminder to take care of the planet when it collapses.
No, that's not. That's not good.
But they've since they've fixed it up, and it's still there to this day.
They
so that's
rebuilt
good.
it.
Yeah. So now it's a reminder to keep care of the earth.
But when you're reminded of that, you're also reminded that it collapsed at one time.
Right. That's probably not their favorite stat, but it's a fun story.
Yeah.
Number 5 on my list of Kennesaw State facts. It's actually the birthplace of Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields. How about Atlanta Braves, of course, defending champion Dansby Swansby, and your favorite rapper Lil Yachty. You're a big Lil Yachty fan.
I mean, you know how much I go off on this show about Lil Yachty.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
Yeah. What's your favorite Lil Yachty song?
Well, there's too many to choose from.
Yeah, that's probably true.
There's so many good ones.
So yeah, this is kind of a cool birthplace there.
Right.
Justin Fields, people are starting to turn on him in Chicago, but we'll see. He's a rookie. We'll see. Some rookies are
I
struggling.
don't
and
think
get back
his
to it.
fault. I don't think it's his fault. Matt Nagy's going to be fired.
He will be, yeah.
And here's my statement on that. I've said it before. They prepared all offseason for Andy Dalton. They said it was going to be Andy Dalton. He got all the snaps in the preseason, and then they just decided, this isn't working out, so let's go to Justin Fields. But they never changed the offense to suit him, to make him more effective. And they tried. They've tweaked it as of late, a lot more rollouts, that type of thing. But I think Justin Fields could be okay.
I just feel bad for the Bears. How long? They'd never have a franchise quarterback. I can't even remember the last time. Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon. And
That's
he wasn't
going back, and he wasn't really a franchise
He wasn't really
quarterback.
he was more like a linebacker playing quarterback.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Cutler was there for a while, I suppose.
Jay Cutler was
solid.
good. I think Fields is going to be okay.
Yeah. We'll see how it all plays
I'd
out.
almost rather have him than Cousins. And I know people say that's controversial, but I don't think it is.
Well, don't worry. Cousins' contract is coming to an
Yeah,
end here
that's right.
after next
Yeah.
year, so you get your wish eventually. Let's go to our number 4 on my list. Since 2005 is when Kennesaw State's athletic teams, except for football, have been Division One. The Division One member of the ASUN Conference. The football team is an FCS member of the Big South Conference, but part of the reason they went D1 was the D2 success of the basketball program around that time, as they won the D2 title in 2004.
Oh, wow. But it's much easier, you would admit, to do well. There are many more D1 basketball schools than there are football.
Oh, yeah.
Because you only need 5 guys to play on the court at the same time.
Yeah, and of course, there's just like, I don't even know how many D1 programs are compared to football. It's like almost,
I think there were like 300.
3 times as much.
358, I want to say.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because we know the stats, because Nebraska's right near the bottom.
Nebraska's near the
So
bottom.
you rank them
Yeah.
351st out of 358.
That's
Yeah, you're right. I know where you got that stat.
That's not a big trick to it.
Yeah. How about the number 3? The number 3 fact? There's a few of them in this one for me, and then I'll get to 2 of their more notable alumni. In fall of 2021, their enrollment exceeded 42,000 students, making Kennesaw State the second largest university by enrollment in Georgia. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, it's very surprising.
Kennesaw is actually, let's see if I still have that pulled up. It was actually used to be known as the town before it became known as Kennesaw. It was known as Big Shanty. It was just kind of a big settlement in the 1830s, until 1887, when it became Kennesaw. And the school, I believe, was created in around the 60s. But in any case, it's kind of a weird, just some. So they have this Big Shanty festival to honor their history, which is kind of cool there. But their most notable, probably around the country, is that they have a mandatory gun possession ordinance requiring all households in Kennesaw to have a gun.
All right.
So
not exactly a liberal town.
No, and I don't know. You'd have to ask some of the players. Do you guys have? Are you guys required to have guns? They do make exceptions for some people, but for the most part, if you're head of household, you're supposed to have gun and ammunition at your house,
but not in your locker. I'm guessing
probably not in your locker.
Not in your locker. You're not required to have one in your locker. That would scare me a little more.
Yeah, but that's just very interesting. I don't know if that makes you want to move to Kennesaw or not.
That's crazy that they demand that you have a gun.
Yeah. Now let's get to the notable alumni. There are a few of them, and they're very similar people in my mind. I sometimes forget they're different. Number 2 on my list is Ty Pennington from Extreme Makeover. Did you ever watch Extreme Makeover?
I did watch it.
Yeah.
I think he started from Office Space, or no, not Office Space, but something smaller. It was
I'm
trying
sure
to think of it. It was a different TV show, and then he became a
Trading
big star.
Spaces.
Trading Spaces. Thank you.
Yeah.
Trading Spaces.
But yeah, just one of the more well-known television hosts. And then, their number 1 probably alumni to me, number 1 on my list is Ryan Seacrest, actually, is a Kennesaw State grad. Kind of similar to Ty Pennington. I don't know if they followed each other, went to the same classes or what.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, obviously best known for American Idol. Very well known in radio. I mean, he's got quite a career for himself. I actually just want to kind of Google his net worth real quick.
I bet he's worth
Ryan Seacrest.
Plenty.
Yeah. Do you know him better from American Idol or from his radio days, do you think?
American Idol.
Yeah.
And then you started to look into his career more because of American Idol. I didn't know about his radio career until I saw him on American Idol.
Yeah, and he's signed. He's making good money. According to CelebrityNetworth.com, he's worth $450 million. So
Yeah,
good for him.
And he does a daytime talk show. I mean, he's everywhere. Yeah. So there you go.
There's some Kennesaw State facts for you. Now you know a little bit better about the team coming in.
I feel much better. I feel like I'm cleansed to a certain degree. Go to the game tonight when it starts at 6:30 and feel like I know a little bit about the opponent. But I also know that they're not very good. They're 4-7. And if Nebraska doesn't win this thing, it's going to get really bad. So this is a must win tonight. Let's get to our I want to mention what our picks of density have been. But we also have Brian Munson of HuskerOnline.com. We'll talk a little Husker football with Brian. We didn't get to talk to him on Tuesday, so we moved it to today, and we're excited to talk to Brian coming up next on Tom and Bock.
Download our app by searching 93.7 A Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Have you been told your furnace has a cracked heat exchanger? Before you spend money needlessly, call Bryant for a free second opinion. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111.
Hi, I'm Steve Carper for O Street Carpet. For Christmas, we're doing everything possible to help you spruce up your home without making a dent in your holiday budget. If you need new wood flooring, new carpet, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you want to shop at O Street Carpet. We offer 12 months same-as-cash financing, Lincoln's best selection in stock, free in-home measuring, and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Big Red Towing reminds motorists every 6 days a tow truck driver is killed while helping stranded motorists. So if you see a vehicle with emergency lights flashing, just know you're required by law to move over and slow down. Let's get tow truck drivers home safely to their families. Slow down and move over. You may save a life. This message from Big Red Towing. For all your towing needs, whether light, medium, or heavy duty, call the professionals at 402-475-4869. That's Big Red Towing, on the air because they care.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality, an increase in immunity, and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In basketball over the weekend, Creighton Prep rolled Lincoln Southwest in a win 62-32, giving them their first loss of the season. Lincoln Christian won over Archbishop Bergen 47-41. Ethan Barrier was the Crusaders' leading scorer with 18. Lincoln Lutheran won over Aquinas 58-47. The Lincoln Lutheran girls also won in a huge spread 61-8. Lincoln Northeast got a big win over Omaha Bryan 65-59. They wouldn't gain the lead till late in the fourth quarter, outscoring Omaha Bryan 22-10. The Lincoln Northeast girls also won with an absurd 80-point margin over Omaha Bryan 85-5. Lincoln Pius X had a 20-point win over Gretna, 53-33. Millard North won over Lincoln East, 73-66. Millard West just got by Lincoln High in an overtime win, 62-54. Colin Nick led the Lynx in points with 16. Lincoln North Star fell short against Omaha South, 61-57. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Every time we make the choice to drive, we're making a choice that could have life or death consequences. Friedman Law Offices has proudly sponsored our holiday taxi service for 30 years. This year, we're proud to partner with Z-Trip to keep Lincoln's streets safer. Between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. from December 15th to New Year's Day, you can get a free ride home if you've had too much to drink. Just call 402-474-SAFE or click Let Friedman Drive at friedmanlaw.com. Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do.
A new Planet Fitness location is open near you. To celebrate, you can join for just $1 down and then $10 a month. We're squeaky clean and ready to welcome you with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out. So join the judgment-free zone today. We're ready when you are. Just $1 down, $10 a month. Offer ends soon. Join us today.
A brand new Planet Fitness location is now open at 84th and Layton.
Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
Back to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tom and Bock. I'm Tom Stevens. He's Jake Bachhoven. Our picks of density, neither one were very good last week in the NFL. I picked the Bills to beat the Panthers, and they did cover. The Cowboys covered over the Giants, had Washington. I lost that. I took Washington over the Eagles. That was a 9.5-point spread in favor of the Eagles. Had the Titans and the Steelers at even, so I guess the Steelers winning it makes that a winner for you and not me. But ultimately, I went 4-4 this week. You went, I believe, no, I went 4-6. 4-6 this week. You went 5-5.
Yes, I'm slowly hacking away at your big lead.
That's right. So let's see. I've still got a comfy lead.
Yeah, you got an 8-game lead on me.
But we'll keep going throughout the bowl season and see how that turns out. Our picks of density, we'll do them tomorrow, heading into the weekend, because we will not be here on Friday. He was not here yesterday, so we brought him in today. He thought he was going to get off easy with us. Brian Munson of HuskerOnline.com. Hi, Brian. How are you?
I know I got off easy yesterday. That auto manager didn't get off too easy with me yesterday, so I apologize for missing. I'm so happy to talk to you guys about things today, because there's still so many things that are up in the air even after signing day.
That's for sure. One of them is quarterback. And I think that's, according to our listeners and things that we hear on a daily basis, that's what most people want to hear about, is who's going to be the next quarterback at the University of Nebraska. We know it's not Adrian Martinez. We know it's not Keaton Slovish, who has picked Pitt. Do you think he was Nebraska's top target?
I do. I think that Slovis was it seems, it's obviously it's moved a little bit. I think Slovis was the guy that followed, and I'm going to draw a blank on this one, but the Fresno State guy, I think, was actually the number one choice. Yeah. And then I think that Miles Brennan was, a close second. And then, I just don't know which way this thing's going to go now. It seems to have all these flavors and all these possibilities. And look, the picture is going to consistently change. And that's probably what's the most difficult for the Nebraska fans to accept. They want to take a snapshot in time and think that there's some signing day coming down, to where then all of a sudden nothing else is going to happen. This is the way things are going to be. The bottom line is, I could see a few more names continue to trickle out as the bowl game season kind of goes on. And classes don't really start in Nebraska until January 18th. So you've got time, and I think there's even some time that's even kind of after that they accept new, mid-year transfers to go ahead and enroll. So I think you've got to a January 18th or the weekend before kind of a deadline. You've got maybe some more time in between from there and the new year, where some other some visits could take place. I think that there is a short list. I think that, you're talking about if it's Chuba Purdy from Florida State, Casey Thompson from Texas, Zach Calzada from Texas A&M. I really think that those are probably towards the top of the list. I don't know necessarily what the order is there, but I think that as of right now, I think that those are the guys. But I think Nebraska's kind of missing out. I do like Cam Ward out of Incarnate Word a lot. I know he's an FCS guy. I know he's got a little bit of a funky release. He was so good with ball management. He had such a small number of interceptions, which I think Nebraska fans can appreciate. And he's productive, and he knows how to win. So I don't know if Cam Ward's going to get a real good look here with those other guys in front of him, but that would have been one of my guys I think that Nebraska should have, or maybe could still pick up an interest in.
And it seems to be the one recurring theme of all their interests, for the most part, seems to be a pocket style quarterback. Do you think, regardless of what's out there, that's what they're going to go after, or is it just that they're evaluating arm first? But I mean, a lot of these guys just barely, if they get over into the positive in rushing yards, they're just not much of running threats.
Yeah, I think it's arm first. I think that it's arm first. I think it's how they manage the game. There's a big part though is arm talent. And look, there's a huge difference. If you put side by side Richard Torres and Heinrich Harburg there together, Heinrich's been in the system now for a year. He's going to look a little different than Torres will because of that time. But typically, like on paper, you're going to see a similar height, a similar weight. But then athleticism gets different, and Harburg does things a little bit differently. But they both have got really strong arms, and Torres has got some really great arm talent. And Torres isn't completely immobile and unable to tuck it and run it. He's not a 4.5 guy. He's not even a 4.7 guy, as I would kind of guess that he was when I went out there and saw him in September. But what was very, very clear to me about Torres, he has a special arm. He has an ability to really spin the football. So I think it's going to start there. I think if you can add in some mobility and an ability to kind of tuck it and run it in occasion, that's great. I watched the Kent State-Wyoming game yesterday. I was impressed with both of the quarterbacks play, mainly because I thought Wilson from Wyoming, although he had kind of this heyday running wild, on the Kent State defense, I thought he still spun the ball really well. And I liked what the other quarterback, Crum, I liked how he really managed the game as well. Those were a couple of offenses that were kind of fun to watch a little bit and see how they were kind of doing things. And UTSA last night, I would say the same thing. But I think that arm talent is going to come first when it comes to the quarterback that they're going to try to bring in from the portal.
Brian Munson of HuskerOnline.com. We've heard Scott Frost say that they'll probably add a guy from the portal, not definitely, but we think they will. Do you think part of it is not getting a quarterback yet, is just being patient because they know more guys are going to appear in the portal?
Absolutely. And I think that's the part that's so maddening, to so many folks are like, oh, well, we just missed out on Miles Brennan. We just missed out on this guy and that guy. Man, there's going to be more dudes that are going to pop up over the next 2 weeks, the next, potentially even as many as 3 weeks. So you can't go back to the fan base and tell the fan base to be patient, because the only thing that they know of is that moment in time right there and all the information up to that point. And the only thing it will tell them is that Nebraska has missed out on all these other opportunities, not that Nebraska is waiting on the right one and that Nebraska knows that there are other guys that are coming down the pike. They just know that what Nebraska has missed out on. That's the part there. It's still even difficult for me to kind of grasp that and understand that philosophy because of, typically marching towards a signing day versus just getting a guy in the boat. And that time can happen, at any point in time. And that guy doesn't even have to be out there and available to anybody until he decides that he wants to be. And that's still going to happen at some point, maybe over the next 3 weeks, and maybe it won't. And that's a pretty difficult process to kind of have to work within. And that's the part I think the Nebraska fans are struggling with as well.
Well, and I think part of it is that this all got to turn around pretty quickly, and they kind of got to build their offense from whoever they're going to get, and they have less than 9 months to do that. Do you think that the names that will be added, have we seen I think maybe a part of the fear is that we've seen the best of those names, the Quinn Ewers, the Spencer Rattlers move on, because I don't know, I do expect some names to drop, but do you expect these names to be kind of big time names, or just maybe some smaller schools that are kind of looking to move up in competition, a quarterback from I don't know, UTEP or something?
Well, I mean, if we were all paying attention to like what ESPN's scorecard was for the conferences and their bowl record, we would all understand that the Power 5 conferences have barely played a bowl game yet. So my thought process is that you will see some of these smaller schools potentially enter into the fray, maybe a another FCS guy or two, or maybe some lower non-Power 5 conference. I think you're going to find some guys that are just buried someplace on a Power 5 team that are sitting there, and they just picked up a big time recruit, or they're going to be stuck behind a guy for now the second year going on the third year, and they need to get out and they want to go ahead and do something different. And NIL is going to play into that some way somehow too, as well as just the opportunity to go ahead and play ball. So I think that I think for the idea is that there will be some smaller guys, but I think that the next idea is you're going to find some guys that are like the Max Johnsons and the Miles Brennans that are with a Power 5 school in a better conference, and they have just been kind of waiting on an opportunity, and the picture needs to kind of crystallize a little bit. And once it does, they'll have their exit interviews, and they'll figure out that they need to go ahead and do something, and that's going to happen in over the next 3 weeks.
Brian Munson of HuskerOnline.com. We think that Tony Tuioti could be moving on. He's been apparently offered the gig at Oregon as the defensive line coach. He's known as a good coach and a good recruiter. Which part of that will Nebraska miss most, recruiter or coach, in your mind?
I mean, it's equal parts. I mean, not to mention that, he has one son in the portal and another son that's had an offer now for over a year at Lincoln Southeast as an outside linebacker. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one, because I think it's very clear that Nebraska's defensive line has trended up in their play since he's gotten there. I think he's started to open up the world to some connections I think that Nebraska fans, probably didn't think that we would ever see open up again. Opened up a connection back to Hawaii, has opened up multiple prospects into Utah, although, really none of those except like Yager, who's not even on the team anymore. But I mean, the Polys that are there in Utah, the Polys that are on the West Coast in general, it's when you lose that connection to the university. I mean, as the saying goes, Polys tend to go where Polys are. Roy Helu kind of bucked that trend, and he will find other players that will buck that trend. But that typically, that saying, it typically runs pretty true. And I think that Nebraska will have get that difficulty back of going out there and staying relevant, in the eyes of basically those Polynesian players, the ones that he has, the similar background, similar cultural styles. So that's tough. That's a real tough thing. But, as a coach, it's clear that he's elevated those guys that are on campus, man. I mean, the play has just, it's gotten better, and they've turned out some talent. They've got some talent still there that's backing them up. And, but it's equal parts. It's a 50-50 deal. They lose some relevance recruiting future players, and then they are going to have to find a guy that has that same kind of touch when it comes to developing guys that are currently there in Lincoln.
And we've seen just over the last half an hour, Texas A&M has had to withdraw from the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl against Wake Forest due to COVID-19 issues. And obviously the joke on Twitter is if Nebraska will go take that or not. But I don't think that's going to happen. The bigger question, though, there is who would be kind of available, even if you are a 6-6 or 5-7 team that didn't quite make it. That bowl is next Friday. And just kind of the timeline of college football now, anybody who's not in a bowl has moved on, gone to the transfer portal, switching coaches. I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to want to just play, want to jump into that game unless, another bowl game is canceled and they take the other half that doesn't have the problems.
Look, my son just got done working out today with a number of D1 guys that their teams didn't make bowl games. They're all home for the holidays. They've all gone through their exit interviews. They've all got their little workout conditioning plans. They've all been told to be back on January 3rd because winter workouts start then. It'd be virtually impossible, I think, to find a substitute at this point to where you could pull something together so quickly, because some of these D1 programs, these guys don't live in the same states, or their parents will live in the same states where they go to school, and getting all those guys back together very quickly and having to do it during the holidays, I think it's even going to be, some resistance from them too to say, hey, look, our or our regular season was crummy. Couldn't imagine, having to go ahead and pull together to play against, whomever, but we can't do it in 5 days time. We couldn't have done it in 5 weeks time. And I think it's just, that's a difficult ask, I think, for these guys right now to have to find anybody that can take the place of Texas A&M.
Yeah, it's not like this is the NFL and you could just go to your practice squad, or the NBA, you could go to the G League. These guys, as you mentioned, are all home for the holidays.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense that you would be able to fill it unless things just fall into place somehow, some way. The final spot, now it looks like 2 final spots. You're going to need a defensive line coach. You're going to need probably a special teams coordinator for Nebraska. Do you think that's the way they go, or do they go with a running backs special teams coordinator? How do they end up this staff?
That's a challenge, right? I think that there's a kind of a growing idea that maybe, Coach Becton could take over the running backs and remain over the tight ends. And there is a kind of a synergy there that when you think about it in terms of offensive personnel and how they go out and they do different sets, they're talking about 10 personnel or 11 personnel or 21 or whatever. Typically it's talking about counting the number of tight ends, counting the number of running backs. So there is that possibility where you could potentially entertain the idea of having a coach, bring those 2 rooms together. I think special teams coordinator is still something that Nebraska is evaluating, but if you have a loss on the defensive side of the football, you have another possibility. You have another possibility of doing something that does some sort of a defensive line, special teams coordinator kind of tag. Can you figure out another way potentially to whether you work down and say, you only want one linebackers coach and then you're going to put the other coach over defensive line? There is some jockeying that can still happen here, but I think that obviously you're still looking for the role. You're still looking for the role of running back tag needs to be applied to something or someone. And if you're going to add a special teams coordinator, is that a guy that's coming into the system currently, or is that another guy that's already here? And then obviously the guy who walks out, what tag does he give up? And how do we have another spot? Then is that a person we could talk about applying not just a tag of which we're backfilling, but then also putting a special teams coordinator tag on top of it. Yeah. So and I think the other emphasis here that we haven't even talked about, Nebraska has to continue to keep trying to become better recruiters. I think we've seen what Mickey Joseph can do in a very short amount of time. Yeah. I think Nebraska needs to keep that in mind to where, they might be more relevant in the boot right now, but you might want to get more relevant in Texas. You might want to get more relevant in the footprint from Colorado through Missouri. Is there somebody out there that has those kind of ties that could help you out, in doing that stuff? Maybe more relevant in Arizona or even in California. California might be getting a little bit more difficult with Lincoln Riley out there in LA now. So I think you need to look at the landscape and figure out where are some spots that you could pick, your battles a little bit and cherry pick. So I think recruiting is still a big part of what's going to happen with this next hire.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, get somebody like a Mickey Joseph, who you're paying $600,000 a year because you need talent, and maybe a guy that could recruit the radius. You mentioned Missouri. Nebraska needs to be more aggressive and better in the radius, and then dip into Texas a little more. Good stuff. Thanks, Brian, as always. We'll talk to you hopefully next week.
Happy holidays to you and all your listeners. Be safe, guys.
That's right. Merry Christmas. Brian Munson of HuskerOnline.com. I think it's a fascinating kind of developing story. And you mentioned it. You asked Brian the question, can they get another team to replace Texas A&M? The Gator Bowl is looking for that team. The team that I feel bad for is Wake Forest. You finally do well, right? You finally have that season that you can maybe remember and maybe knock off a team like Texas A&M, the team that beat Alabama. And you're not going to play
the SEC.
Yeah. And you're not going to play in a bowl game.
Well, and
maybe
it looks like they need someone to drop out because, like we were just talking about, everybody's gone home. I guess they already reached out to Rutgers, and Rutgers doesn't want to do it. There's just no team together. So, and
then
the
only a team that were 3-9 that lost more close games in the history of college football than anybody else. The best, what they need to fill that vacancy is the best worst team in the history of college football.
I'd be for it. I just don't. I think Nebraska's moved on to 2022 when they played 9 games of the season. So I don't know if they're looking for this, but it is interesting because neither team, Wake Forest, Texas A&M, obviously not. If they don't play the game, they don't get the bowl payout. The bowl payout's $5.35 million. So that's what they could be missing out on, and that's whoever slides into that position could get. So maybe it's worth Nebraska, maybe just getting all even the walk-ons or whoever is still around Lincoln to try to get in there and get that done. I don't know if Nebraska wants to risk dropping to 3-10 though.
That's right. You
That's pretty rough.
Just get to 4, though. You got to get to. Should we take a call before we get to break? Let's take a quick call. 464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Pretty good. Hey, Munson's talking about getting the recruiting from these other states. Bottom line is, man, we got to keep on getting the greatest players out of our own state. That Ducker kid the other night that ran for 200, he led the entire conference. He's from Bellevue West. They got like 4 other kids from Bellevue West that are going all over the place. Get our own kids. We're always losing kids from Omaha that play at Iowa or wherever else. You don't really need to get the great kids from Texas and Florida. We got great players right here in our own state. Keep them here.
Yep. Good call, Tom. Yeah. The Caden Helms thing to Oklahoma really hurts. But what if you're him, even with the coaching change, of course you're going to Oklahoma right now.
Yeah.
Nebraska has not done well in Omaha in this recruiting cycle. Now, up until then, they have done pretty well. But you eventually got to win. I mean, let's face it. If Nebraska starts winning, they'll start to turn the tide in recruiting as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. And I hate to say it, but you kind of think if you had a son and he had a lot of D1 offers and Nebraska was one of them, it's just not the most stable environment or, with the best prospects right now to get your son to the next level. I mean, if you have a lot of those other higher major offers, but I agree with Tom, you got to keep some of those guys in state, but you definitely, as always, are going to have to recruit nationally at Nebraska and throughout the Midwest. So it's always a challenge of recruiting at Nebraska. And, hopefully this staff you can get those recruiters in position to get it done. And so far, I mean, we've seen, at least a few additions from the wide receiver room. So, at least maybe if you lose a recruiter, you're at least gaining a recruiter on the other side of the ball.
464-5685. Call right now, the Honda of Lincoln hotline for your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. It's Wednesday, so it's What's the Hook Wednesday. I've been reading songs, rock and roll songs with a country accent. I'm not sure why, but it's taken off. It's our most popular segment. No, not really. But I'm going to continue to do it and beat the drum. So I read a rock and roll song, the lyrics with a country accent, and you guess the name of the song. And then you win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll do it coming up next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so badly, he ended up in the emergency room and spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is, don't be shy about telling people not to smoke around your kids.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality and increase in immunity and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and in just a few moments, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln, will be joining us with the latest update. But before I bring Andy on, I'd like to tell our listeners about how proud I am to work with Honda of Lincoln. I like the way they provide listeners honest, up-to-date information that helps people make informed decisions about buying or leasing. Hey, Andy, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Charlie, and thank you for your comment.
Andy, what's happening at Honda of Lincoln?
We still have truckloads of new Hondas arriving daily, and there's still more than 500 new Hondas to choose from, either in stock or on the way. Plus, we have 0% APR financing available.
How about used, Andy?
One of our best selections of all makes and models, and we have a great selection of certified pre-owned Hondas that have special APR starting at 0.99%.
That's great, Andy. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Expect sunny skies and mild temperatures as we'll top out at around 52. Winds out of the southwest at around 10. Overnight, mainly clear, a low dropping down to around 30. We will continue our climb in temps as we head into our Thursday with an afternoon high approaching 55. And by Christmas Eve, highs could be into the 60s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This year, show her she's the one with 1 carat diamond jewelry from Riddle's Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1 carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1 carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
Located in Gateway Mall.
Is your furnace or heat pump ready for winter? Call Bryant to schedule your home heating check. Comfortable, safe, efficient. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Big Red Towing reminds motorists every 6 days a tow truck driver is killed while helping stranded motorists. So if you see a vehicle with emergency lights flashing, just know you're required by law to move over and slow down. Let's get tow truck drivers home safely to their families. Slow down and move over. You may save a life. This message from Big Red Towing. For all your towing needs, whether light, medium, or heavy duty, call the professionals at 402-475-4869. That's Big Red Towing, on the air because they care.
This is Wingman.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. You can be my wingman anytime.
Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings on 93.7 The Ticket.
464-5685. Call right now on the Honda of Lincoln hotline with $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings so you can go get chicken. Yardbird. Disturbing news from PVA. Red Panda apparently did drop a few of the bowls today.
She'll have another chance
But
tonight.
I think she's okay. The most important thing is her health. And it feels like she made it through another performance. And if you missed that one, you get to see her tonight at 6:30 at halftime for Nebraska versus Kennesaw State. But Nebraska dominating Wyoming right now in the third quarter.
And she stacks like 20 bowls on her head and then kicks those 5 up there. You know, if 1 or 2 drop, that's still pretty darn impressive.
I wonder if she's gotten better over the years or if she's kind of lost a step.
I don't know. It's amazing to watch. I don't know how many people could do that to begin with. So,
I think that she's incredible. She's got to be loaded, right?
I would think so.
She's been doing this for a long time, and I think they make significant money for those halftime shows, $3,000 to $5,000, whatever it is. I think they make decent money. Are you ready for What's the Hook Wednesday?
Oh, it's my favorite day.
Bock will be your wingman today, and I'll be the guy that reads the rock and roll song in a country accent. I'm not sure why I started doing this, but I can't get out of it now that I've started it. So here's today's song with a country accent. I wrote her off for the 10th time today. Practiced all those things I would say, but she came over. I lost my nerve. I took her back and I made her dessert. Now I know I'm being used. That's okay, because I like the abuse. I know she's playing with me, but that's okay, because I got... And that's the hook, right up until the hook. See, I cut it off there. 464-5685. If you know the name of that song, Bock will be your wingman. It's pretty well known. I think you should know the song.
I got that one.
They're one of my favorite 90s bands. Do you know the band?
Oh yeah, I have a few of their CDs. I wouldn't say one of my favorites.
CDs. Do you sound old by saying the word CD?
I think I do probably sound old saying that now. Yeah.
I've got friends that are big audiophiles, and this is a kind of a trend to go back to the actual record.
Yeah.
And play
the
that.
records are cool now. Yeah, CDs won't be cool.
There are some
anymore.
guys that insist the sound is better with the record, and you listen to it and you go, that doesn't sound nearly as good.
I know. I don't understand that.
I don't know why they insist on it, but Paul, we welcome in Paul. He heard the song. He heard the lyrics to the song read in a country accent. What is the name of the song and the name of the band?
Yeah, it sounds like a Green Day song, but Bock, I need a hand with the title.
Well, I don't think it's Green Day. I think it's the
Oh, it's
Offspring.
not.
I
think it's Self-Esteem by the Offspring would be my guess.
Offspring. Okay, cred.
That is correct. It is Offspring. I don't think you can say the Offspring. I don't think that's correct.
Oh yeah, I did say the Offspring.
Like you wouldn't say the Green Day. It's just Offspring. But this is the name of the song. It is Self-Esteem. Here's the whole segment that I was reading on the air.
I wrote her off for the 10th time today. Practiced all the things I would say. She came over, I lost my nerve. I took her back and made her dessert. I know I'm being used. It's okay, man, 'cause I like the abuse. I know, playing with me.
Here's the hook.
That's okay, 'cause I got no self-esteem. Hey.
Yeah. Would you describe that song as an anthem? It's
Yeah.
close. I don't know if it is an anthem, but it's
For
close.
people with low self-esteem.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
definitely.
It's a low self-esteem.
I would always sing that when I
anthem.
was crying about not getting enough attention from girls. Yeah.
Have you experienced that type of song? Bock?
No, I don't think so.
No comment. No comment.
They are, by the way, the Offspring. That's why
Are they
it
called
stuck with me. Yeah,
I've
they're
never
the
said
Offspring.
I've never said the Offspring.
Yeah.
I've said Offspring. Okay.
But they're like, I don't know, between them and Green Day was a good guess. It's
I
kind of a punk
apologize,
band.
Bock.
Are they getting too old to kind of have the? They're kind of whiny, right? They kind of have a whiny sound with the lead singer, and now he's like 50. You can't really whine when you're 50.
Axel Foley thinks the country song does make picking the song hard.
He does make it more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
so,
it.
You like it? Okay.
I love your country accent. Yeah, you're really good at it.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean it's serviceable, maybe. You know what we do on Wednesdays? We give away a lovely gift from Beatrice Bakery. And if you've not tried the cakes there, I don't like fruitcake, Bock. I really don't. But I like their fruitcake. It's brilliant. But they do much more than that. The lemon drop cake we love so much. The chocolate rum is so good. They just do it all, and they do it to perfection. I mean, they're really picky about how they make their stuff, and they make it well. And every Wednesday we take a nominee, and it could be Happer does teachers. We do nonprofits sometimes, but it really can be anybody who just needs a smile, anybody who needs some cheering up, and this will do it. This will do the trick. Beatrice Bakery. We'll announce the winner in about an hour from now, a little less than an hour from now, but you can go to theticketfm.com and nominate somebody that just deserves a big fat smile, maybe a Christmas gift that, maybe they're somebody that doesn't get noticed as much as they should get noticed, and we'd like to notice them. So just go to theticketfm.com, nominate that someone special, and we'll pick a winner in about 50 minutes from now. All right? Let's go to break. Come back with more. It's Tom and Bock.
Download our app by searching 93.7 A Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Expect sunny skies and mild temperatures as we'll top out at around 52. Winds out of the southwest at around 10. Overnight, mainly clear, a low dropping down to around 30. We will continue our climb in temps as we head into our Thursday with an afternoon high approaching 55. And by Christmas Eve, highs could be into the 60s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One host has a red beard and thinning hair. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these two radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple. Happer and Schaefer. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And now, a letter to Santa from the world of Yum.
Dear Santa, hi, how are you? I am well. Let's get to it. This year, Beatrice Bakery cakes for everyone. For my mom, apple streusel cake. For my dad, definitely the turtle nut cake. For my brother Jimmy, how about some of those chocolate-covered fruitcake squares? And maybe a couple of those for me too? In fact, give me more than you give him. For Mrs. Swanson at school, the chocolate...
Check out Grandma's fruitcake and all the delicious desserts at Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum.
CBD American Shaman reminds us that many veterans returning from service are in need of work. Many have elite military training and valuable professional skills that can benefit your company. Show your stripes, hire smart, and hire vets. That's from CBD American Shaman with 3 Lincoln locations. CBD American Shaman provides a compassionate care program with discounts for low income and veterans. Visit them online at cbdamericanshaman.com. CBD American Shaman thanks the men and women who have sacrificed so much.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Is your furnace or heat pump ready for winter? Call Bryant to schedule your home heating check. Comfortable, safe, efficient. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppell Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
Hey, what day is it?
To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bockovan.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans. And when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the game.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome in hour number 3, actually 4. It is hour number 4. Wow, we have more stamina than I thought. I didn't know if we could do it. We actually filled in for Happer and Schaefer today, starting at 10 a.m. And it took me an hour to get adjusted to the time because I kept thinking it was 11 o'clock the whole hour. And then since then, it's gone flawlessly. Not one mistake except for all the mistakes that I've made, just a few.
And I think Schaefer will be back tomorrow, but he's had a rough go at it as far as a moving day based on his Twitter. Because this is his moving day. He's moving houses.
Oh, really?
And so far, I think the company didn't show up, and then some of the paperwork's not getting done. So hopefully he's back tomorrow.
Somebody needs to get fired over that.
Yeah.
That's for sure. This off the text line, 464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Sutter Hammond text line. Not sure if you talked about this yet, but Wake Forest is looking for an opponent for the Gator Bowl. We have mentioned that A&M is out due to the virus, and so they're not going to play. It's the 31st, right? Is that the?
Yeah, it's next Friday. Is that?
It's next Friday.
Yeah, that's the 31st.
That's the 31st. So Wake Forest, I feel bad for them. 11-2 season. First of all, their quarterback, their Heisman front runner, Kenny Pickett, has decided not to play.
Well, that's Pittsburgh.
Or Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. That's right. So in this case, Wake Forest is playing A&M. You're right.
Yeah.
But I do feel bad for Wake Forest. They never make a bowl game, right?
Right. This is like their breakout year.
Now, what are they? 6-6? It seems like a weird matchup.
Wake Forest is pretty good. Remember they went to the ACC title game and lost to Pitt.
Yeah.
I think they're like 10-3. They were
undefeated
10,
for a while. They were 11-2.
Yeah, something like that.
There you go. But you feel bad for them because they get that far and they have a good year. They actually lost to Pitt in the ACC title game and Kenny Pickett. But then they get to a bowl game and now it's probably going to be canceled unless they find an opponent for them.
Well, it's crazy because they're trying to explore all options. Again, Wake Forest won't get the $5.35 million if the game's not played that you get to go to that game. So they definitely want to play that game and they want to, cap off a season that's been very special in Wake Forest memory. And so they're actually even considering right now. I mean, they've already asked Rutgers. They've asked some teams to see if they're going to do it, but everybody's like done. They're moved on to the next season. Their players are out of town on Christmas break if you didn't make a bowl game. So now they're considering asking, and somebody on the text line said this an hour ago. So hats off to them. They're thinking about asking teams that have already played in a bowl game to play again.
That's crazy. That can't happen. I mean, that for the safety.
If you play a game next week,
I guess that it seems crazy to me. It's supposed to be. I would actually rather they go the Rutgers type route, where you have a team that was on the cusp of making a bowl game. They had that game at the end of the year with Maryland, and the winner got to go to a bowl game, and it turned out to be Maryland that got to go to a bowl game. I'd almost rather include a 5-7 team, but you're right. It's going to be tough to do that when everybody's home, unless there were a bunch of teams just waiting for this scenario to happen, which I doubt.
How about in the day of name, image, and likeness, you can just put together a team from all across the country, just different guys that still want to go play in a bowl game, and they can be like the Senior Bowl, right? You go put that Senior Bowl team out there.
That's a great idea.
And they can have the different stickers on their helmets still. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I would root for the replacement team.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Even against Wake Forest, who had, that year where for a while they thought they could be in the college football playoff. Until you knew that they weren't going to be in the college football playoff.
When's the FCS championship game? There could also be the idea the FCS champion gets to go on to play Wake Forest in a major bowl. That'd be cool. But I think their championship game is going to be around the same time. So.
There used to be a thing, and you're probably too young to remember it, Bock, but like the Super Bowl champion. And I remember one year they did, I don't know how many times they did it, but like I remember the Green Bay Packers playing the college All-Stars in a bowl
really?
Game. Yeah.
And how poorly did that go?
It was close. It was close. And I think that's one of the reasons they stopped doing it. It's like, you don't want the NFL team losing even to a group of all-stars.
That was back in the day. You wouldn't think that would happen in modern day, right?
Yeah. No, it happened in the 70s.
Yeah.
This was in the 70s where the Super Bowl champion would play a group of college all-stars in a bowl game. And it was actually very entertaining. I mean, that's a game you would watch, right? Today?
Yeah.
But obviously, there's no motivation for you.
But obviously, now you'd rather see the Jaguars instead of like the best team, right?
Yeah,
because then it would be more competitive.
Wasn't that the whole debate when Nebraska won the Fiesta Bowl, for example, in '95, considered one of the greatest teams in college football history? That the Nebraska could beat the Panthers or whoever the worst
new teams that were.
They could beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the day, or whoever was bad in that era of college football. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Take the worst team in the NFL, but then you don't really want to embarrass anybody, I guess.
But I was also thinking just because of how things went so poorly, speaking of Jacksonville, with Urban Meyer, is like, I would like to go through a list of coaches and who you think would have done better at Jacksonville. Like, Kirk Ferentz had this long, for a while was regarded as maybe an NFL prospect. Do you think he would have done better in Jacksonville than Urban?
That's a good question.
Because it can't get much worse.
Uh,
He might not have hired his strength and conditioning coach.
That's probably true.
So might not have got off to the hard
Urban,
side.
I think
he
it's
fired
just,
that guy.
I think a lot of coaches go through this. Nick Saban kind of went through it. I'm just a college coach.
Yeah.
That's what I do well. I can be a tyrant in college, and I don't think as much as you used to be able to. But I think those guys that are so crazy over the top driven and so focused on, they can get away with, this is the wrong word, but pushing around 18, 19-year-olds
Right.
a little bit, being a little more domineering.
Well, and it's even like at that time, you're, kind of, maybe you don't want to say father figure, but that sort of role, the kind of the traditional coach role. Whereas once you're a pro, you're making money, you're an adult, you don't need a father figure type anymore.
I wonder if that, part of that was, Saban didn't work in the NFL, but a lot of it's just whoever has the most talent in the NFL usually wins. And then creativity usually gets you to beyond that, to maybe a Super Bowl champion. You have to start with talent. And the Jags have had no talent, and it wasn't just Urban. Nobody's worked with Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I thought I was actually surprised that he was let go, but they just wanted to get rid of him.
Bring back Del Rio, right? Del Rio was probably their best coach so far.
Yeah. I want to do we have college football questions. We're talking about Texas A&M bowing out of the Peach Bowl. What bowl is it? It is what bowl is that?
Oh, for Texas A&M.
That because I keep thinking Pittsburgh.
There's so many bowls now.
But anyway, it's New Year's Eve.
Gator Bowl.
Tax
Slayer Gator Bowl.
Yeah, there you go. They bowed out, and now Wake Forest needs an opponent. And Bock mentioned that there are some teams that maybe could play 2 bowl games because it doesn't look like you're going to get. Rutgers has declined to go to the Gator Bowl, as you mentioned, and it doesn't look like there are going to be a lot of 5 and 7 type teams available to get into that game. So I feel bad for Wake Forest as they had a good season, and yet they might have to just cancel the best thing that's happened to them in a long time.
And just sports teams in general. I was making a joke about this to you off air the other day that we could almost do a segment every 20 minutes and tell you who's in the COVID protocol now. I mean, Luka Doncic and Trey Burke just have entered the COVID-19 protocol. And I could do this. I could update you every 20 minutes because it's new. Some other team being impacted by it.
Yeah, it's just the world we live in, right? We're on the 5th different strand, it feels like, of the virus, the COVID virus. And it also feels like what, has been said in the past, that this thing is never going to go away. Viruses just don't go away. It might be something that's just around forever. And we're always going to be talking about it. Hopefully we're not always this buttoned down forever, and that we can deal with these things and we find new drugs that, will account for getting teams over the hump if they do come down with viruses. Maybe you can have guys play if they don't show symptoms. But right now we're still in extra cautious mode.
Well, and this is Randy Ball of the Star Tribune pointed this out. Every headline on ESPN right now, if you go to ESPN.com, there's they have the 8 major headline. Every one of them is COVID related, whether it's Joe Johnson signing with going back to the NBA, the NFL nearly canceling games, the Gator Bowl we're talking about.
NHL is shut down.
NHL shut down. Alabama's assistants. I mean, that's going to be interesting because the playoffs are coming up. Bill O'Brien and Doug Marrone have tested positive. I think they'll be ready to play by then, but certainly there will be people on Alabama, Michigan that won't be able to play, on those playoff teams. So it's just a crazy world right now.
Remember last year they were doing a lot of that where coaches can coach up until like game time, and then they had to shut down their microphone whatever. They could communicate with the other coaches. Why not just let those coaches coach from wherever they're coaching from? If they have to coach from a monitor in their living room, what's the problem with that? I mean, get these things in and make the product really good. Because I'm very excited about the national championship playoffs. I mean, it's New Year's Eve. We're all looking forward to what's going to happen on New Year's Eve with the college football playoffs. And I want the product to be great. So get rid of some of your rules if they're it's really nobody's fault at this point, right?
Right.
We've all been vaccinated. almost everybody has, certainly in this realm of college football. And most people have been vaccinated twice and had the booster, and in many cases had it. So let's get to the point where it's nobody's fault. So let's make every effort so these coaches can participate.
Well, it's just frustrating, especially as a college football fan, that this is happening. I mean, can you imagine the NBA rosters if the playoffs were right now? I mean, it would just be so disoriented and not the teams. I mean, and that's what I'm hoping for these playoff teams is just that, fine, the bowl games can be impacted. We've all acknowledged the bowl games don't matter quite as much. I mean, people are opting out without the COVID part. But I hope it doesn't affect the playoffs too much. And I hope that this is not the same, the same level of having this problem of guys being out left and right for the NFL playoffs, for the NBA playoffs. And like you said, the NHL, I mean, it completely shutting down. When it comes championship time, it's just very odd about who's available, right?
Yep. Let's get to Ask Bock. I asked Bock a bunch of questions about college football. We've kind of gone down that road, so let's continue down that road. Missouri's Tyler Batty, who led the SEC in rushing, has bowed out very late in the process. He's not going to play today in the Armed Forces Bowl versus Army. That's kind of a late. I mean, I don't.
That's really.
If you're going to bow out, that's kind of late.
Give your team some notice beforehand. Yeah, he's like the best running back in the SEC, preparing for the NFL draft. But he must have really wrestled with this decision, I suppose. And it's interesting too. I mean, because it's funny because you don't really pay attention to Army and Navy all that much until the Army-Navy game. And now I know that Army's coming off the loss to Navy, but now Missouri without their best player. Again, it's just whether it's the COVID thing or players jumping out, the bowl games are just very weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to ask me about Pitt, but I mean, that quarterback position in general is so odd because Pitt's got Kenny Pickett, who opted out. They have Caden Slovis, who's going to start, obviously, coming in next year. You don't have Mark Whipple. He's gone. So there's just somebody that's going to start that Pitt game with no future really in line with Pitt and just kind of there in a moment in history. It's just very strange.
Would you be upset with a rule that says if you take a new job in the offseason or, before the bowl game, you still have to coach your team, or if they ask you to coach the team? Like, I understand why Mark Whipple would say, I got to help recruit for Nebraska. I got to get this thing in order. But it's really unfair what Pittsburgh's going through right now.
Yeah, whether it's early signing day, I had a problem with how Nebraska had to, the way that they went about their business, right? I call it the athletic department giving up on the season before the last two games because they had to fire staff and move on. And all that was positioning for, this part of the season where you grab guys before bowl games and go out there and recruit, obviously, for early signing day. I think we have to find a way to either let the bowl games go, which I would hate to see as a with expansion of the playoffs, the kind of lessening the importance of them or whatever, or to include them into the whole system. Like you said, let's wait on this whole transfer portal and the early signing day and all that stuff till after the bowl game. But of course, that would shift some schedules, make a lot more difficult months in the early months for the coaching staffs. But it feels so disoriented right now, and these bowl games are so weird. I mean, they're just not even the products that you sign up for the teams that you want to see. The best players aren't playing in them.
Yeah. Well, even Dan Lanning, who is coaching Georgia in the playoff, has got to have his mind thinking about Oregon.
Oh yeah,
he just took that gig there. Miami's dealing with the COVID outbreak. You mentioned all these stories are COVID related, seemingly. They play Washington State in the Tiger Sun Bowl December 31st. Well, how many bowls do you think will be canceled? This can't be it, right? It doesn't feel like there's big potential. Wake Forest, Texas A&M canceled. They're not going to get a replacement team, I don't think.
Yeah.
There's going to be bowl games canceled.
Yeah, well, the other thing is that's the makeup bowl, right? Is if another game is canceled, then the team without the COVID problem will jump into the Wake Forest Gator Bowl. So I think there's a chance we see Wake Forest, but I think you're right. There are probably going to be more cancellations along the way, and it'll probably leave at least one team out of the mix, that is fully healthy by the end of this.
Yeah. USC quarterback, of course, Caden Slovis is headed to Pitt. How sad are you about this, that Nebraska does not get him?
I think he was the biggest name in the portal, and I kept saying this, that he's at least this experiment that has to put together to get that quarterback, in my mind, to give this an extra year, to bring in Mark Whipple, to do all this. I think you need a solid guy there that gets the fan base excited. I think Slovich would have done that. I don't know if there's somebody in the portal right now that necessarily does that for me other than that. But, I can always go back to the fact that I don't know how good of an idea it is to have a not very mobile quarterback behind this offensive line. And we'll see. It looks like that's going to be the deal moving forward. So if they go ahead and get a pro style, or excuse me, a pocket quarterback anyway, and it's not as big a name as Slovich, then it'll hurt a little bit more. But yeah, I think that guy's got potential. I think he's pretty solid. Probably the best name that I liked in the portal left.
His best year, 2019, 3,500 yards, 30 TDs. Played really well.
When's the last time you heard of a stat like that for a Nebraska quarterback?
Let me think about it. Never.
Never.
There's a three-way tie, Bock, for the college football comeback player of the year. Aiden Hutchinson, who didn't play in 2020 because of a bad ankle. You had Mackenzie Milton, the leg injury, and J.J. Weaver, a linebacker from Kentucky. They all shared it.
They did. This isn't the finalists. This is everybody, the co-award for everybody.
I thought they had shared it. Maybe it's just nominated.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to argue with Hutchinson. I mean, he made it all the way.
Haven't all the awards
to New
been
York.
given out?
For the most part.
I thought we had given out all the awards.
The comeback player can wait maybe a little bit, but everybody obviously was cheering for the Florida State quarterback in that situation, former UCF quarterback, but. After week one, it was very cool, kind of a cool story that didn't quite end in a win, but I don't think he had quite the season to probably compete with Aiden Hutchinson, who ended up in New York.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? Wyoming beat Kent State, 52-38.
And they both wore yellow pants the whole game. It was confusing.
That was annoying. I was happy for Craig Bowl.
Yeah.
Did you see him get his head dumped on with French fries?
Yeah, I mean, and of course, Frank Solich has had this before, so I mean, eventually, I think we're going to see the whole, 2002 staff with French fries poured over them. Eventually,
that's a tradition in that bowl game played at Boise.
I do like it though. Would you be bothered by the grease factor?
No, I'd probably end up eating the fries.
Oh, yeah, the ones that you find on your shirt later.
It might.
I'd sure grab a handful.
Be honest. Who hasn't done that?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like you lose a fry in your shirt, and then later that night. It's.
I wouldn't go. I don't usually go hours after it.
Maybe not later that night.
Yeah,
but just a few minutes later.
Yeah.
Today you got. Let's see, Missouri versus Army. Who you got in the Armed Forces Bowl?
I don't know. I mean, that's interesting, especially without Batty in there. I always still lean toward the Power 5 opponents, and again, watching Army fall short against a not very good Navy team. Though Navy played a really difficult schedule, so that's part of the reason why the record was so bad. I'll still lean towards Missouri. I like what Josh Heupel's got going up there.
Yeah, they had a top, I think, 10 recruiting class. Missouri.
Yeah, that's right. They had a big class.
They did really well in recruiting. So we'll see where Missouri goes. Army's a fun team to watch too. I like watching that offense. Let's get to break and come back with more. It's Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, sewer and water underground repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. That's Select Plumbing at 402-560-6197.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Expect sunny skies and mild temperatures as we'll top out at around 52. Winds out of the southwest at around 10. Overnight, mainly clear, a low dropping down to around 30. We will continue our climb in temps as we head into our Thursday with an afternoon high approaching 55. And by Christmas Eve, highs could be into the 60s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Coppell Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Coppell, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at coppellcars.com.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns big or small in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com. If you're struggling to get motivated to work out, you're not alone, and Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is here to help. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with Farrell's 10-week challenge starting January 8th, all for a chance to win $1,000. Farrell's combines kickboxing with inclusive strength training and nutrition planning to help you stay on track. Go to fxblincoln.com to sign up today. It's the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-week challenge starting January 8th with 2 locations in Lincoln.
This year, show her she's the one with 1-carat diamond jewelry from Riddle's Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1-carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1-carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
Located in Gateway Mall.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bock just pointed out during the break the Big Ten is reevaluating what they do with forfeits. It's now an automatic forfeit, and it's been this way, this year in college football as well. If your team comes down with COVID, but we're good, you forfeit. Creighton won a game with Seton Hall. Not Seton Hall, but DePaul the other night. And it's happening on a regular basis throughout college basketball, that if you can't play, it's a forfeit. But now they're realizing it's not necessarily anybody's fault. I think early on before the vaccine, you're thinking, well, you went to a bunch of parties and you weren't vaccinated. That's on you. We didn't do those things. You have to forfeit.
Yeah.
Now everybody, for the most part, or most teams, are completely vaccinated. And in college football and basketball, that's much more likely to be the case. The coaches are vaccinated. We had a coach fired, Rolovic, at Washington State because he wasn't.
Yeah.
And, you can't blame somebody if they're fully vaccinated. They've had the COVID booster, and their team still comes down with it. I just don't know that the forfeit anymore is appropriate.
Yeah, I never really thought it was. I mean, I get your argument, but I just think it's tough when you're dealing with 19-year-old kids that if one of them goes out and maybe isn't the most, but I mean, it's not. Sometimes you can say, oh, he's just a party or whatever. Maybe he's going to see his family. Maybe he's got like 3 people that he sees, and one of them comes down with COVID.
Right.
So I mean, it's the fault thing was always hard for me to begin with. So it's hard to trace. So I think I like the idea. I don't like a forfeit, mostly because I don't like the other team benefiting in the standings from not having played or earned a win.
Right.
And so
what if Nebraska is their best win, Michigan State, because they have COVID?
Can they put
take it.
Can they put that on the tournament resume as far as big wins?
Yeah,
big
does it
forfeit
translate into the rankings? The Ken Palm, does he factor that in?
Yeah.
Well, they do have that big forfeit win over Michigan State.
So I mean, I like that they're reevaluating that, especially for Big Ten play here. On the flip side of the coin, the college football playoff has made it clear that if a team can't play, that's a forfeit, and the other team moves on, or might even be the champion in the championship game if that's the case. And for that group, I don't know if they necessarily have a choice. I mean, unless you want to do replacement teams from bowl games, and select somebody else to go in there, but half those teams don't have their coach, or like all the teams that were kind of Notre Dame or whatever who was just outside. It's just it potential for a big mess. But I really hope, like I said, crossing my fingers, because all this is happening at championship time for college football, and I hope that the playoffs aren't infected too much. I'm sure a few players are going to have to miss the games here and there, but hopefully it's not the primetime players, and hopefully I pray to God there's no forfeit coming out of it.
The history of viruses says that you don't get rid of them ever, very rarely, and you take all the precautions you can. You get vaccinated, and then what happens after that is, just maybe bad luck to a certain degree. You caught it, but it's a virus, and it's not going anywhere. At least it hasn't, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. So to punish a team that's done all the right things and still has to forfeit seems completely unfair.
But do you think there's any other choice for the college football playoff in particular?
Delay it. I mean, that's what the NFL is doing. Why is it a big problem if you do it on a next Tuesday? We had a Tuesday night game last night. We had 2 Tuesday night games and 2 Monday night games because the NFL has said we're going to do everything we possibly can to get these games in. And if you scheduled a national championship without any true national champion because they won on a forfeit,
that'd be really rough.
Could you imagine the NFL playoffs? Yeah, they did 3 games. They got to the Super Bowl because of forfeit.
Well, yeah, and I hope they would, and I think they would evaluate the NFL because it's worked so far. But I mean, there's also a chance with these, bleeding into the next week, right? When you're playing on Tuesday, what if it's not better by then? So I mean, it's fascinating to see the different leagues, the different playoff structures that are the way that everybody's going about it, and it's just a mess. But it's something that everybody's fighting through.
Yep. We mentioned this earlier in the show. Mickey Joseph, his new contract, $600,000. Donovan Raiola is going to get $325,000. And then we'll see what Nebraska is willing to pay for a defensive line coach if, in fact, Tony Tuioti does move on to Oregon. You can't blame a guy like that if he does, right? He's known for recruiting Polynesian players at a high level. There's a lot of those available in the Pac-12. And he's, spent a lot of time in his home state of Hawaii. Easier to get a kid from Hawaii to the Pac-12 in Oregon than it is to Lincoln, Nebraska. He's had success recruiting Polynesian players. But I'm not going to blame him for a second if he decides to move on to a place like Oregon, right?
No, I won't blame him. And obviously, you wish that these were, forever type of moves and you could keep your best coaches. But for a guy that usually, you just kind of want to add to your resume and build it the best way you can. And like you said, it's probably easier for his recruiting and what he knows. He's a West Coast type of guy. So, I mean, to go back to the West Coast would help. That was exciting about him to begin with, is that he could pull some of those players in. So Nebraska will have to maybe find a replacement along the West Coast recruiting for that, or, who knows what, what the idea is going to be for the next defensive line coach. But yeah, I mean, that it's in some ways good to see guys move on and get, better jobs or whatever. Maybe it's a high paying job. A lot of this just comes down to, you'll give me 100,000 more. Yeah, I'll go that way. But that means that there's something successful going on in your program, right? And sometimes you can lose that right blend of just having all the right guys in the place at the right time. But I guess you just kind of keep going back to the old ideas. How much can it really hurt your 3-9 football team to lose these pieces? I mean, because there are a lot of big pieces leaving, but it just wasn't all that successful to begin with. It was close, as we know. But it's a tough blow because he's definitely an up and comer in the coaching profession.
Yeah, I wonder how many follow. I just hope that it ends it there, because I think Travis Fisher is going to have options if he wants to go down that road. He's known as a great recruiter and still making a little hay in the transfer portal, even with another tough year for Nebraska in year 4. So it'll be a big hit. I think it already is a big hit that you lose Tony Tuioti. You can't lose Fisher and Eric Shenander as well. If you end up rebuilding this entire staff, then I'm concerned. Then I'm like, duh, is what you would respond.
Right.
Duh. Because you kept all of the defensive staff because that was the strength of the team. Eric Shenander was building a culture. Tony Tuioti was building a culture with the way his defensive linemen played and fought through stuff. Now, if you lose a Fisher, I don't even want to think about that.
Well, the one part that you would, and it would be good because there's so much transition in that secondary to keep Fisher there. So I get that. But another part about what hurts Tuioti is just the lack of consistency, I guess, for your biggest strength that I would see on the team so far, which is your front seven, right? I think that was the best unit that they had coming back. And I know that's 2 units, but kind of the best strength of the team. It's certainly not along the offensive line. You're getting a new quarterback. Running backs don't do it. Wide receivers are okay. The secondary is brand new. But you have, the Ty Robinsons and some of those, the Casey Rogers and those guys up front. And then of course the linebacker unit's pretty solid. A lot of those guys coming back. So the front seven looked good. And now you lose a piece, at least, in coaching that. So, that's where I think it maybe hits the most, is that your biggest strength, and you don't have a whole lot of strengths to point to, takes a hit.
No, and I think one of the things I liked about the offensive changes, bringing in Mark Whipple and certainly Mickey Joseph, but you did keep Sean Beckton, who knows the old system. You kept Scott Frost, who obviously knows what he wants to do. And we had heard, at least, and we'll see if that happens, that Mark Whipple and Scott Frost are going to keep a lot of the terminology the same, right? They're not going to change a bunch of terminology, which can really confuse 18, 19, 20-year-olds. You're speaking, Spanish one day and then French the next day. That's a big deal. What if that happens on both sides of the ball, where you lose an Eric Shenander and then you bring in a new defensive coordinator? You can't keep all the terminology the same, I wouldn't think. Maybe you can. It seems like it would be very difficult to do that. To me, that would be the biggest disaster, is if they lost Eric Shenander.
Well, it's just, and it's easy on a day like this to start compile everything and put it on top of each other and say, this is just a big disaster. And it somewhat is, but it's what you signed up for to begin with. You knew this defensive staff was going to get poached or get offers because they had a good year and they deserve to get credit elsewhere. So when you decided to bring back Frost, I think that had to be part of the idea, is that, you'd have to fight off teams to keep Tuioti and Fisher and Shenander, and the first one of those guys now gone. It's like it's an uphill battle for any of this to work, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. But it doesn't. Again, you just kind of go back to, well, you're a 3-9 team looking to get better, and so a lot of even if the stuff that was working, who knows how much it's going to translate from year to year, and it's just it's just. Like you said, the new terminology. I mean, this stuff can hurt, but it's an uphill battle to begin with. It maybe got a little bit more uphill with that news, but it's not as much. It's not like the challenge is a whole lot more than it was before.
Nebraska women's basketball has improved to 12-0. They get a 72-60 win or 61 win over Wyoming, who is previously 4-4. So they're 4-5 now. Nebraska 12-0. And they're humming right now. Jazz Shelley, another good game from the field, 5 of 9, and 11 rebounds. Man, she's just every night brings it. Scoggins, 1 of 4 from the field. Let's see, Hybe, 3 of 6. Nebraska with another solid performance. They haven't been spectacular every night out, And we'll see once the competition definitely upgrades. But there's a lot of hope that this could be an NCAA tournament team.
Well, yeah, and I keep going back to the fact, and again, I know it's a little bit different of a team from last year, but they were like, they could compete with almost anybody on a given night. I mean, they were beating really good teams last year. It was just that they were kind of playing down to competition. So I know that they're not playing the best schedule so far, and that's probably why they're not ranked yet. But I believe in them when they take up that step of competition. But what the problem was taking care of the competition they should have beaten last year. They should have been an NCAA tournament team probably last year, just given on their strength of their best wins. But some of their losses weren't great. And so it looks like as you build the program, sometimes it's just steps. And Nebraska women's basketball is taking that huge step to, if it's going to be hard to beat us if we're favored. If we look like the better team, we're going to take care of business. It's no longer kind of playing down to competition.
Yeah, and they didn't shoot it necessarily great today. 45% from the field, 58% from the free throw line. They get another, as I mentioned, good game from Jazz Shelley, 12 points. She's a double-double machine. 12 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Also had 13 from Izzy Bourne today. Not a lot of great performances, but a win is a win is a win. You finish off your non-conference schedule, and now you look to the Big Ten.
Hey, career high from Annika Stewart. That's a good day.
Yeah, that's a very good day. Nebraska women's basketball, NCAA tournament. That's a nice ring to it.
Real quick update too. I just saw from the NCAA, or this is from from the NCAA on the playoff, is that if one team if one game where two teams have to forfeit in the semifinals, then the other game will be the championship game. So if Georgia and Michigan can't play, Alabama and Cincinnati will be the championship.
See, I don't like that. I don't like even talking like that. Do you hear any talk like that from the NFL? Never.
Yeah.
And all the talk from the NFL is we're going to get it in, and maybe it makes the players mad that they have these tight schedules that they have to play, on a Tuesday night and then again on Sunday or whatever the day. That seems sometimes unfair. But the NFL is getting it in, and I wish that would be the attitude of college football. Hey, we're in a pandemic still. The virus is going to be around for a while. Let's find a way to get these in. But you're dealing with colleges and not professionals, right? So colleges tend to be a little more conservative on the health side.
Well, and the college football playoffs are also seeing this now. They're starting to take precaution here. Media availabilities are going to be moved to virtual settings, no one-on-one conversations in person, no connections. And so a lot of, at least they're taking precautions, but you're right. It seems like whether, is the Big Ten wanted to get in front of everybody and just sound like they're the leaders or now college football playoff. Sometimes it's just, make a decision if something happens. Why get all this, seemingly silly rules in play that are going to cause drama for you? I get the idea of the no media availability. I get the precaution, but
we've been doing that for a year anyway.
Yeah.
We've been doing Zoom calls for coaches for a long time. We're kind of used to that. In
fact, it's back.
I think it's back. It's back in full, but the media, I think in some ways like it. They can, babysit the kids and feed the dog and still do an interview with Nick Saban. But it is what it is. It feels like it doesn't need to be necessarily that way, but that's where we are as a country right now. If games are canceled, I'm going to go haywire. Bowl games, one thing. But the college football playoffs, completely different issue.
And from Dennis Dodd too. Now he says, like kind of what you're saying, the college football championship game is not to be played later than January 14th. It's scheduled for January 10th. So there are at least planning for maybe if you have to move it a few days that they will do that.
Yeah. So there you go. We hope that doesn't end up being the case. But as Bock mentioned, every story you read, whether you're talking about the NHL, the NFL, the NBA, seems to be COVID related, and now college football has joined the party related to that. Let's get to break, finish out with pregame. Nick and Rico being next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
My name is Rebecca. I struggled with depression for years. I also smoked. That was my world. Finally, I realized that smoking wasn't helping me. It was making my life worse. So I took control and I quit. Now I'm able to run again and take walks with my grandkids. My tip is there's another world out there, and it's a beautiful place to be.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
But why is Nebraska not a hungry program? Why does Michigan come in with hunger? Where's the hunger? Where's the, Nebraska doesn't play like a hungry team. Even on its best nights, it doesn't look like a very hungry team. Right?
No.
They're not killers.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
If you're struggling to get motivated to work out, you're not alone, and Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is here to help. Build muscle, burn fat, and lose weight with Farrell's 10-week challenge starting January 8th, all for a chance to win $1,000. Farrell's combines kickboxing with inclusive strength training and nutrition planning to help you stay on track. Go to fxblincoln.com to sign up today. It's the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-week challenge starting January 8th with 2 locations in Lincoln.
This year, show her she's the one with 1-carat diamond jewelry from Riddle's Jewelry, your trusted family-owned jeweler for over 60 years. Choose from Riddle's remarkable collection of 1-carat total weight diamonds in rings, pendants, bracelets, or earrings at prices you'll love with savings up to 50%. Show the one you love how much they mean to you with the perfect 1-carat diamond gift from Riddle's Jewelry.
Located in Gateway Mall.
This year, give the gift of delicious food, incredible service, and a lasting memory with the Pillar Restaurant Group gift card. Our holiday gift card special is back. When you purchase a $50 gift card, receive a $5 bonus card, or purchase a $100 gift card to receive a $20 bonus card. These cards can be used at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, Cactus, and all Lincoln Good Sense subs. Available for purchase at any of our concepts or online at prgnebraska.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Expect sunny skies and mild temperatures as we'll top out at around 52. Winds out of the southwest at around 10. Overnight, mainly clear, a low dropping down to around 30. We will continue our climb in temps as we head into our Thursday with an afternoon high approaching 55. And by Christmas Eve, highs could be into the 60s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns big or small in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment, Tom and Bock, Tom Stevens, Jake Bachhoven. Nick is there. Rico joining us momentarily. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I thought it was kind of cool. Dylan Larkin, who plays center for the Red Wings, was skating in the pregame, and he bounces up against the barrier, the glass barrier, and he spills the guy's beer in the front row, $20 beer. And he buys him a beer. He felt really bad about spilling the guy's beer.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't think most pro athletes would care.
No, I mean, I've seen pro athletes reach into the stands and pour the beer all over the helmets and just, who cares?
And it was really the guy's fault that had it setting on the ledge there.
Yeah.
And he just happened to ram into the glass barrier, but he bought the guy a beer.
I did not see that.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
How did he do that? Just
no, he talked.
Where did he get his money?
He talked to somebody in the media, and they went over and handed the guy a 20.
I was going to say,
another beer. I don't think they went and fetched him another beer.
Yeah,
but they gave him his money back for the spilled beer. But most I've ever paid for a beer is like $8. I would not go over that.
You wouldn't?
No. Well,
yeah, you would.
It better
Tom.
be a big beer if it's the $20 beer. But then you're thinking, well, that's a lot of beer. That's probably too much beer.
You say that now until you're in the atmosphere, I bet.
What's the most you've ever paid for a beer? Do you know? At a venue?
I have not paid
at
for
a music festival. Beers were $12. And I'm not a big drinker, so I didn't do it. But my friends did. Yeah, they spent way too much money on like 3 beers.
That's why you just sneak it in.
Right.
You just sneak it into whatever venue you're talking about. I've snuck it in. I'll be full disclosure. I put some stuff in my golf bag before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The golf bag, definitely. Almost before or every time.
But they don't. It's not every time. They don't pat down your golf bag.
I was going to say, I'm sure they know. Like,
oh, yeah, that's part of golf.
Golf courses make a killing off of that, man.
We were talking about this game that we should play at some point, COVID or no, because it feels like everybody has COVID.
Yeah. I can give you an update every 20 minutes who has COVID.
Give me an update on some of the latest people.
Oh, Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni has COVID.
All right.
They just announced that.
Stephen A. Smith, did you say?
Stephen A. Smith has COVID.
Oh, no. That's going to hurt him for a long time. He's not going to go 0 to 100, be able to go 0 to 100 real quick.
What are the odds?
Anymore effort for a couple months now.
What are the odds that you haven't had COVID? Have you guys had COVID?
I haven't.
Honestly,
but
I have not. Because
I think I did before I actually tested positive for it.
Right. I haven't tested positive for it yet.
That I would say that as well.
But I've never felt sick during this yet either. But obviously that doesn't mean you haven't had COVID. But
we were talking about the college football playoff and COVID, and they've got to get these games in by January 14th, right?
Yeah, that's wild.
But you're seeing some big name guys back out of big name bowl games now. Talked about Kenny Pickett in the Peach Bowl. And Kenneth Walker, the third who's backing out of that same game from Michigan State. Chris Olave and now Garrett Wilson are both backing out of the Rose Bowl.
Are we surprised?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
I think it used to be we were very surprised when this happened.
Yeah.
Now it's just not a big deal, which makes me sad.
It's more sad than anything because it's not called the college football bowl season that it used to be. And these are just very much exhibition skeleton games.
And the sad thing is we're never going back to that.
Yeah.
Right.
We're never
so I'm
going
glad
back to the
Nebraska
point
didn't
where...
make a bowl game. I don't want any part of that crap.
Oh, okay. Here's a question for you. If Nebraska made a bowl game,
who would sit out?
Who would sit out? I'm being serious. I mean, would Cam Taylor Britt probably?
Perhaps.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
would Adrian Martinez?
Most of them are first or second round picks, though. I mean, these are really high profile players.
But if you're what if you were considering going into the portal, not even an NFL thing?
Exactly. Would Adrian Martinez have entered the portal? Would Cam Jurgens?
Probably, yeah. I mean, Brendan Hymas sat out the Rutgers game.
Yeah, but if Nebraska had gotten to 6 wins, Adrian's the quarterback next year, so he wouldn't have gotten into the
I'm not
transfer
sure.
portal.
I don't know. That is interesting.
I'm not sure if Adrian's the quarterback if Nebraska even makes a bowl game. I think going into this season, there was this thought of this is it. We've said it before. It just felt like through 4 years, it kind of just ran its course. And it was
after the Purdue game. You wonder, though. I mean, because things would have changed. The narrative changes. I mean, what if he helps, makes 3 3 plays that really helped impact those wins.
Do we think the Purdue game is when it all flipped?
Oh yeah, I know it was. I heard everybody's had it up to here with Adrian after that.
Well, how about
the Illinois game?
But I was thinking the Illinois. That's the other game I was thinking.
It depends on but my point is there's been people obviously on both sides of the fence of Adrian for a long time.
Yeah.
And even after the Illinois game, you still have the pro supporting Adrian, and as well you should. There's a whole season left in front of you. It just felt like after that game, some of the chances he was taking against Purdue, and obviously just the fact that Scott Frost wouldn't bench him, maybe people would have said,
I think that's a bigger thing.
Yeah, it was more just the marriage of Frost and Adrian isn't going anywhere, and it seems to be too much. They're still too tied to each other.
You said it a number of times. I think Nebraska's best option at quarterback is Adrian, and I don't want him back.
Right.
And that's probably right. And your reasoning is, I want to see what Frost can do and kind of Adrian can do, go in their separate ways. I mean, Frost is going to have to prove that he can develop a quarterback. And he's, by this time, we understand that he didn't do that with Adrian Martinez. Or, maybe you want to throw Mario Verduzco under the bus or whoever else. There's, it's not all Adrian's fault. The people around him weren't good enough either. And that was a big theme. We got to be better around Adrian. That never happened. So I think it was the right decision to move on to Adrian, even though I kind of agree with you. I don't know that Nebraska will be better without him.
Here's an interesting thought that just kind of popped in my head. Will we hear the narrative at some point next season, if Nebraska does go to the transfer portal, I guess, that, he's only had a half of off season to work with the quarterback. Give him another off season, a full off season.
Well, yeah, and you should hear that.
Will you hear that?
I think I'll start that narrative now.
So then when does it stop?
It doesn't. That's
in 3 years once you develop Kenny Pickett.
That's the worst part. When does it stop? When do the endless
stops.
chances halt?
Well, I think those narratives can be there, but I still think there's a hard line, make a bowl game or not. And if you don't, and some people think it's more than that, more than 6-6. I don't think you should expect more than 6-6 off a 3-9 team with all the rebuild they have. So I think that's kind of silly. But it's another year of trying to get to 6-6. And if they don't get there, there's reasons why they don't, and legitimate reasons why they wouldn't. But at that time, this experiment's over.
With that thought, and Tom, I'm curious where you're at on this as well. Are we on that boat of forget that about it's year 5, forget all that? We just need progress from last year. So I'm genuinely curious because, see, I'm personally in the boat of you're still in year 5. It's year 5, and teams go through overhaul and rebuilds and attrition every single year. And at year 5, you have to see something. And I guess bowl game is something that you haven't seen in all 4 years. But still, think back to where we were when we hired him. Bowl game in year 5, maybe.
Well,
and these are against teams that unfortunately Nebraska hasn't been able to beat.
How much do you think we'll be able to predict the record of Nebraska football next year?
No way.
When they get a quarterback. When they get the guy out of the portal, you're going to say, okay, they got their guy. That's a 7-5 team. That's an 8-4 team. Or no, it's going nowhere.
I think as far as prognostications, I just don't think that any preseason magazine is going to have Nebraska too high, and I can't be too high on them. I mean, it's 4 years straight of under 500, and now this grand experiment. You just have to hope that it works and hope that it wins. But as far as predictions, it's hard to.
Do we predict a bowl game next year?
Yes, I always do. But I don't think it'll be much better than 6-6 or 7-5.
Just like I predict 500 in conference play for Nebraska basketball every time, I can argue myself that any team can get to 500.
NCAA tournament, here we come.
I'll probably pick 9-3 or 10-2. Who knows?
There you go.
Just go 12.
In the meantime, we're leaving. Happy hours next with Nick and Rico. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy